right, folks. Here we go. All right. I'm having a great little. Oh, God damn it.
Follow from. Follow from. Follow from. Don't follow from.
We are live. Jaron Campanella, the man, the myth, the legend, on the Gravy Brunch. Welcome back.
That guitar beginning is the funniest thing I've seen anybody's intro.
Oh, thank you.
You win.
Yeah. I know. Does it look believable that the camera like fell down? Because I just had to splice that from a completely different video. It doesn't look believable, right?
It looks good until you get hit. Then from there it's great.
Yeah, because the floor doesn't look like it's linoleum. So, but it's the only one I could find that where it's something fell over and there's blood. Dude, what's up, man? It seems like there's a lot going on right now. A lot of exciting things.
It's kind of always the case, but yes.
Well, nah, I feel like the last month has been if Flat Earth was a stock, I feel like it's mooning right now. You know what I mean? This final experiment, I have some questions and some thoughts, and I'm sure a lot of these have been addressed, but my first question is for all this, and I'm sure you've thought of this, is this final experiment, and if for those, I'm sure everybody knows who's watching my channel what's going on with the final experiment, which is you going down to Antarctica, get fully paid to check it out, film the sun either setting or doing a 24-hour loop above. So my question is, was this always really an option this whole time? Could this have happened before on our own accord?
I think so. I mean, I've always known that there's been tour agencies that take you down to Antarctica or to the South Pole Station or whatever. But I knew that they were extremely expensive, right? So I've looked them up before. You're talking anywhere from $30,000 to $50,000. So I've always kind of, chalked that up to, okay, they make it so high price so nobody goes, right? And that's for most part. I saw some video recently of a guy who went to this Union Glacier and he was showing his plane flight there. And there was like literally 6 people on the plane and this plane probably fit 100. So, they had to basically just camping out and having a good old time. So, I mean, I think it's probably rare that it sells out. But I guess I've always known that you could go down there as long as you're part of these groups, right? You can't go down and independently investigate. You can't go down on your own. You're not probably going to take a boat there and just pull up to the ice wall and be like, I'm here. None of that's going to happen. But as far as these very individualized outfits, yeah, I think that's always been an option. It's just been way too expensive. And obviously none of us have that kind of money. So that's kind of where I would place it. And then I would think that, there would be something involved that would make it so that people didn't realize that the sun sets is what I believe. So I guess this is the first time somebody's come forward and then offered to pay, number one. And then number two, well, I guess the weird thing to me is just the amount of people that I don't think understood our model or still don't and are still saying things to me that is insane. Kind of showing me a little bit more than I want to believe that this is a religion to a lot of people, which I thought it was more about truth than it's appearing at this point.
Okay, can you give me an example of that? Because I did. You said on your stream, like, if somebody can think of a reason why this would work on a flat Earth, so I can't help just think of like maybe this. But I definitely don't believe that. I was just reaching to think like, if anything, and I was just talking about maybe if it's like the southern stars giving that illusion. But obviously, that's the only thing I could think of. And, so I was sending you that, but not thinking like, that was, that I don't believe in it anymore. What are some of your examples of, like, what's surprising you from other people in the community about this?
Well, I've heard mostly people say like it doesn't matter, which is weird because
that's strange. That's some Glober shit right there.
Right. And in fact, that's what I was saying yesterday on Facebook, telling people, I said, well, it looks like we've learned well from the globe, world, because now we're using the same arguments as them, I mean, for something to be
Yeah.
true, it needs to be falsifiable, right? We need to be able to falsify it, which means that there has to be ways to test something to see whether or not it's true or false. If it's not falsifiable, it's just not science. It's not, it needs to be able to be falsified. So
Right.
there has to be things that we could observe that would falsify a flat earth. That has to be possible. If there's not, that's ridiculous. Then what you're saying is that no matter what observations are made, the earth's still flat forever and ever. Amen. Which I'm not a believer of. I believe that there's, that it could be not flat, obviously. Now, again, I'm a believer that it is flat. And so I stood up and said, okay, when I look at this idea, and I was going to show you if I can bring this up on the screen. Let me see if I get it. 1 second. I don't know if this will, I just want to give you a little example here of what we're talking about, because I still don't think people understand. I'm reading people saying the weirdest things. I had somebody send me yesterday, oh, here's a way that the sun can go behind you. And they showed me something completely different than what we're talking about. So I don't think people even get it. Sorry, I have to try to move this over here. I'll get this going. iPad, just so I can draw it a little easier than on my screen. And game capture should be in there. Okay. So I've just seen people on Facebook and things like that, or people making videos. I saw Level Earth Observer made a video today. Basically, I'm sure calling me a shill. It's called The Last Pantomime. And that's what's really weird about these people saying that, is they might as well say that they don't believe what they've been saying all these years. Whereas I do believe what I've been saying, and therefore it's not a problem for me to admit. For instance, if I said to you, hey, would you believe in a globe Earth if we went out and measured curvature? Your answer should be yes. That's
I mean,
right.
I would entertain it at the very least. I would, it
Right.
would, it'd be,
But I mean, like if
you know,
we actually measured curvature, went out and measured it, or if we went to space and saw the ball Earth from space, I'm assuming that anybody would say, oh yeah, then I'll believe it. Because what you're saying there is that based on evidence, that's where your belief goes, right? It wouldn't be like, no, if I measured curvature, I'd still say it's flat. Well, okay. Well, and if I saw it from space and I would still say it's flat. Well, that's weird if you're actually saying you're seeing evidence of the alternative, right? So
no,
when
I mean, that's what people say when they think like flat earthers are so stupid. They'll say, oh yeah, well, what if you went up there and you saw it and it was a ball? You probably would still think it's flat. It's like, I'm like, no, I would definitely not. Like, why do you think that about us? Like, like
that's the sad thing that I've noticed is that it looks like many people have adopted this as a religion, which I get. Hey, it's a big part of my life as well. But I'm also intellectually honest enough to say that if evidence came against flat Earth, that I would no longer believe it. I think that's okay to say. I've learned that it's not. You have to say that you'll believe flat Earth no matter what happens in the world. Because let me see if you can see this here. So you see the screen now?
on your screen,
lines. You can see my drawing here. Okay. Oh, yeah, I didn't put it back. So here's what I don't think people understand. If we are talking about a flat Earth, okay, with a ice wall around it, okay, and this is the flat model, and then we know that there's the North Pole. So I've talked to Bob Nodell. I've talked to Daryl Marble. I've talked to people in Norway. I have a friend who grew up in Iceland. Talked to all these people and confirmed that there is a 24-hour sun in the north, and the sun, because we know the sun goes this way, that it goes when somebody's at the North Pole. So if you're standing here, you would see the sun go from left to right around you in a circle, right? So this sun going around
left to right, and it would be during our summer.
Correct. So in the north, during the summer, left to right at the North Pole. Okay. So that we know, and that works on both models. So when there's an observation that works on both models, then you don't have what do you want to call it? You don't have to believe one side or the other, because both explain the observation, right? Sure. Meaning that if somebody told me, well, what about this? And I would say, well, no, I'm still a flat Earth believer, because the globe Earth describes that, but so does the flat Earth. So I don't
works on a ball, works on a flat. Like we're not getting anywhere. Yeah. We want one. Yeah, no, that one's great. That's a good way to look at it, because otherwise we're just arguing the same thing. Like, just because somebody can't think of how it would work on a flat Earth. I mean, that's how I was too. I'm like, well, how does that work? I can't imagine how that could work on a flat Earth. Therefore, it doesn't work until someone explains to me how compasses can go around the middle, and then everything else. I'm like, oh yeah, that would work. Oh, that would work on a flat Earth. like,
Because let me
easily.
tell you what they say is going on that I think invalidates. And this is, we've always known that flat Earth and globe Earth have a lot of the same characteristics. Where it falls apart or where it gets to be determinable is in the south. As we've said, the south on the flat Earth map is much larger. The south on the flat Earth map is the outer edge, not the tiny continent on the bottom. So there is some differences in the south. So if you kind of picture, let's say that this is North America and this is South America. Okay, sorry for my bad drawing. Actually, I'll make it a
Good.
little clearer. Let's go back and get this out of there. Okay, so we've got North America and South America. Okay, so supposedly he's going to the 80-degree mark at Union Glacier. Okay, so it's out here. Union Glacier, let's say it's right here where this X is. Okay, so we know that the sun comes this way. We know that that's the case. The moon as well. So what we would expect to see from here is the sun working. Now, I even will allow it to rise south of east and set south of west. I even allow that for the sun because of the way that the atmosphere works, because we can do it on ray tracing diagrams. Okay, but here's the problem. So we would expect to see the sun go from right to left across the horizon and set. Okay, they say that what happens is the sun goes around you.
Yeah.
Okay, so at noon on the, let's go back here. So when it's noon, which would be about, by the way, the Union Glacier station uses Brazil time. So let's just, so at noon for Brazil, the sun is above it. Oops. Okay. And for at noon on Union Glacier, we would see the sun directly north. Okay. So at midnight for us here, the sun needs to be over here. And we know that that's the case because Australia has daytime, right? So they're going to have the sunrise and stuff like that. So how could the sun be here at 12 midnight and also be here at 12? Okay. So that's the problem. And if somebody says, oh, well, even if I see the sun go around my head, okay. So if somebody, and that's what they're saying, everybody's saying that by calling me a shield, basically they're saying, no, Jaron, if the sun goes behind our head here, so the sun, instead of, we would fly in, we'd land there, we'd see the sun in the sky, and the sun would go like this and go like this and go like this the 3 days that we're there. That's what their model calls for. Now, there is no, and I don't know why people are so weird about me saying this, there is no flat model that can explain a sun that goes left to right around a person in the north and right to left around the person in the south, because it doesn't make any sense. It's not logical. The only thing that makes sense for that particular thing to happen would be if this person is upside down. That's the only way it works. Now, people hear me saying this and they're like, oh, Jaron believes in the globe. No, I'm saying that I'm willing to stand up and say this does not happen. There is no 24-hour sun in the south. Okay, that's what I've said for 9 years. So people just can't grasp the fact that I'm able to say that if I saw a sun go around me, that I would then come back a believer in a ball. They're just lost. They're all confused. They're like, what Jaron's saying? So what about everything else we found? What about everything else? No, I get it. There's a lot of things that we found, but there is nothing that's determinable like this. There has not been something that is like the globe model says this, the flat model says this, and we can verify it ourselves in real time or whatever. There just isn't anything like that, because everything is kind of similar. Things we can't measure, things we can't prove, things we can't provide. Now, am I baffled at, let's say that we did go down there and see it go around our head? What would be my questions immediately? Like, why did they have to fake these 24-hour videos, right? Why is there no 24-hour? So that's why all those things just don't seem likely to me. What seems likely is that this does not happen as they say it does. That's the
chances are zero of that happening. I mean, it's zero. This was the proof that actually made me a flat earther, was me like going insane trying to find this footage, because I knew exactly what you're talking about. Like, please let me just see this 24-hour sun down there. Why is this so damn hard? You know, and you start like putting the pieces together, like, you know, when your bullshit meter goes off, like, this is a big one. And my question is, if people have done this exact trip before, how come I would love to like reach out to people who have been there during this 4-day camping, you know, in a tent, in the
Yeah, I
middle of
reached
the.
out to one
You know,
guy yesterday. I was thinking the same thing. Let me talk to somebody who's been there, and I found this channel
yeah,
that has like 12 subs. It's got like nobody.
right.
But I found it by just searching Union Glacier. I'm gonna see if it's in my history. I found it by searching Union Glacier and found this guy. So I want to talk to him and see what he says. Now, the thing that caught us or me off guard, or not off guard, but I was like, oh, of course, typical, is right when I started looking through all the bylaws and everything, it says, oh, all campers must adhere to quiet time. And I was like, what's that? Well, from 10 p.m. to 8 a.m., they like basically make you stay in your tent. So, of course, if you look at back what I just drew, uh, that would be about when the sun would
Quiet
set.
time. What?
Right.
What
So
the?
you're like,
Like
what's
you
going
can't
on?
get out of a tent. You can't look outside. You have to pee in the tent.
Yeah. And
Like,
they tell you
how
have
can
to
they
bring a
actually
glass
enforce
bottle of tea.
something like
I
this?
don't think
Like
they
to
really could. And
adults?
if you have to shit, obviously you don't shit in your tent. So I'm sure you can go out to shit. I mean, who knows how they do that. But I thought, okay, well, we're going to have to tell them that we're not going for that. So I was emailing them back and forth. And then they sent me some paperwork that I had to fill out that was basically like a filming request and tells me where I can film and where I can't film. And then that next day I talked to Duffy. He was on my channel. And that's when I asked him, did he know that? And he said, yeah, he said he's already gotten all those permissions. So I said, oh, so I don't have
Yeah.
to fill out these forms. He's like, no, I already filled them out and we already got approved. So we don't have to adhere to quiet time. So that's the story now. Now, again, let's say people might be thinking, oh, well, maybe you're going to get down there and they're going to make you, oh, who cares? It's not my money. Right. If we got down there and they're like, oh, we do need you to adhere to quiet time, you can't film the sun. That's evidence for us. That's what I'm so baffled
Imagine
about.
how weak that would be. Like, can you imagine if this whole thing was like moot because, sorry guys, I can't get out of my zipper tent.
Right.
So,
Guard right in the front.
you know how lame that would be if that's how this.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm
Oh my
not stupid.
God.
I understand that the chances that they let us go down there and film the sun setting is very low, right? But I do also think, I mean, part of me thinks, like, let's say, because I've listened to Austin Whitsitt for a while, and he used to say that they were going to adopt the flat Earth, that they were going to roll it out, that they were, I don't know if you've heard things like that. People saying, could they lie forever? How long would they have to lie for? Is there some plan that they have to release it? So I started thinking too, like maybe they just haven't had anybody who's gone down there and filmed it, right? Like, so they just
Why
keep
haven't any of these
going.
people that have done this trip before like done it? I looked on a lot of
Definitely.
Instagrams of people that went there, and
I
it's
was like, no.
maddening. There's none. No
No,
one's like, "Hey, cool, the 24-hour sun," like just randomly in their story or anything
No.
from down there.
The lady I was talking to, I told her that she's like, well, what are you going to film? What are you coming down here for? I said, well, let me explain it to you. You guys have just celebrated your 25th anniversary, and you do not have one video of the 24-hour sun. So now I have to go down there and film it for you. So I was like, kiss them. Now I don't talk to them anymore because I realized Duffy is the one who's talking to them, and I probably shouldn't have started out the way I did, which was kind of accusatory and being kind of rude. So it's probably better if it comes from him. But it's his money. And so if he's lying and we actually don't get free, we actually can't walk around at that time or whatever, that's all going to come back on him. I just don't think there's anything to worry about yet. The whole community seems to be, everybody's arguing about, will it matter? Will it won't? It's like, what, how could it not matter if we've been saying for 9 years that there is no 24-hour sun in Antarctica? And now everybody's saying, if there is, oh, well.
Well,
I mean, I don't understand that. Why? So what has everybody been lying for 9 years?
I mean, I think we're just jumping to these conclusions. We should all just be excited that more proof can be done.
I agree.
You know, you do experiments all the time with lasers on the beach. If that cost like $100,000 to do that, and so we haven't been able to do that, the fact that like we would have that option now, like if that was the same thing, should be a win. We should be like stoked. Okay, now we can afford another piece of information. We should This is exactly what I was trying to do when I was trying to debunk flat Earth. Was this? So this is wonderful, you know. And I don't like, that was when I wanted to prove the globe. And to be honest, at this point, I don't really want to prove a flatter globe at all. It just seems overwhelmingly in my gut that the globe is a lie based on so many everything. So, but like this idea that we need to determine this will figure it out. Like, I don't even care. I just want to like,
and
let's get some more proof.
I heard people say like, it's not an experiment. It's got the wrong name. It's like, okay, don't listen to the name. Who cares?
Yeah, exactly.
It's
Like,
one
let's
guy
go get some
saying
more
it's the final
proof.
experiment doesn't mean that, like, if you try and talk about flat Earth after, somebody says, no, 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 there's already been the final experiment. I mean, it's just stupid. It's like, let him name it whatever he wants. It's his money. He's paying it. If he wants to call it the final experiment, maybe it's final for him. For me, nothing is final. There is no proofs in the world.
Yeah.
All there is claims, and which claims better match the evidence, and and that's how you figure out what the truth is. So let's say that I went down there and saw, for some unheard of reason, the sun go around my head in circles for 3 consecutive days. Then I would come back and say that the globe model better matches the reality of the world. Now, it doesn't mean that the next day somebody couldn't come and say, Jaron, look what I found. This flat map works. Oh, shit, there it is. You got it. Back to a flat earther. All you can do is go where the evidence leads you. The evidence has always led me towards flat earth. It's never steered. There's a couple things that I think about the globe earth that have changed my opinion of it, but not huge to the fact that I would change my belief. And those are just like, I used to use the idea of railroads and like bridges as evidence. Like, they didn't use the curvature of the earth when they built railroads or bridges. And then it hit me that you wouldn't, right? Like, if you're, think about being outside on a stretch of highway and a mile long, right? So you could barely see a mile down the highway. It would be very difficult to see something a mile away. But let's say you're just looking down a mile highway. That only curves 8 inches, they say, 8 inches per the mile, right? So would you take that into account if you were laying railroad tracks? No, never.
Wouldn't you have to though? Like, if you if it was like giant, like railroad, if it was just like part that you put together, right?
Yeah,
Like you're like a toy one. Wouldn't eventually, like, it would have to, like, I mean, well, if something is like, if something clicks together and continues to be level, it would have to. It wouldn't just naturally perfectly curve to whatever surface it's on, and it would eventually.
I think
mean, if it was like, you had like a curved desk and you put like toys together, it's not going to just perfectly stay to the ball.
No, but think of how different that is, a curved desk versus 8 inches in a mile.
Well, like, I mean, just the scale is what I mean. Like, take like a toy model of a train, put it on like a giant beach ball, and put them together. Like, it's not going to, like,
no, but that's
something that's designed to be level will eventually be a problem, wouldn't it not?
So are railroad tracks designed to be level? They're like basically what?
Well, no, but like pipes are, like, aren't they? Like isn't there like pipelines? And
sure. I mean, anything is. I mean, a 3-foot level is designed to be level, right? We know a 3-foot level is very solid. And think about, if you put a 3-foot level in a Home Depot anywhere on the floor, it's going to always say level, right? Now, if you picture that you're on a gigantic sphere land. Well, all the Home Depots would all be level. There would never be a Home Depot that's curved. The Home Depot just sits in the Home Depot spot. They level it out, level this one out, level this one out. So no matter where you put that 3-foot level, it would always show level. That's how it would work. And then with railroad tracks, you only lay like a 20-foot segment at a time. So you would lay a 20-foot segment, go to the next, lay a 20-foot segment, go to the next, lay a 20-foot segment, go to the next. You would never say, oh, it's going to curve 8 inches down in this next mile, because you would just be laying pieces of track. Just like you said, if you took a toy train and your house curved, and let's just say it's 2 inches over the length of your house, which is nothing compared to a mile. So let's just say it's curving 2 inches over the length of your house. You would just lay down train tracks. You would never notice that there was a curve of your house.
I disagree. I think if, like, I had a train track growing up, I think if I connected them all together, eventually it would be a problem for sure.
If it's only 2 inches of curve in your entire house, 2 inches?
Sure. Yeah. Because if something's designed to be straight, it's not going to curve just perfectly with whatever. I don't know. But like, what about like pipes? What happened to my camera here? What about like pipes that they have to be like bolted together? So you have like these giant tubes that you just bolt together and you make like a pipeline that goes across. Oh shit! Look at goes across. There we go. That goes across, like states, like countries almost. Like they're not, once you put them together, they're level still, right? So when does it?
A circle would be constant curvature, right? It's always going to be the same exact curvature. There's no like place that's got bigger curvature. So I guess the problem becomes, if you're talking about a pipe and you're running it any distance, I guess if it's rigid is what you're saying, like a metal pipe that doesn't bend.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's how they would be made. Like if you just keep adding more to this pipe, just like a plumbing
Right.
supplies are, you know,
all I'm
like
saying there is, why would you take into account the curvature of the Earth? Why not just connect the last pipe to the last pipe? Why
and
would
then
you
just go
just
from
keep going?
there.
Well, you just keep building whatever you're building. I don't even think at this point, I don't even think you would ever take the curvature of the Earth to build a bridge. That'd be insane, because what you're doing when you build a bridge is just building sections of road, right?
Yeah.
So any section of road or any section of the Earth that we're working on is essentially level, right? There's no other. I mean, if you're talking about a giant sphere, now I don't believe that we're on a sphere, because I don't believe people are upside down. I don't believe we're spinning. I don't believe we're flying through space. All those reasons. But as far as, I used to make arguments that I no longer make, because I realized that if large sections of the Earth are essentially level, which they are, right? Think about, if it's only 8 inches in a mile, think of how long a mile is. If you're building a mall, for instance, a mall is maybe a quarter mile, a half mile at the most, this whole mall. So you're talking about, in that mall that you're building, there's 4 inches of real curvature if the Earth is curved. You wouldn't take that into account, because at no point would you need to build anything different than just building on a level. That's why they use leveling. That's why they use, surveying to level things. So anyway, it just seems like to me that I used to think like, oh, well, if you're building railroad tracks over a curved Earth, and let's say you're building them for 10 miles, we know that that's 60 feet of drop. So wouldn't you need to calculate that in? And then it kind of hit me. No, I don't think you would. I think that you would just build the railroad. You would
What if the
just,
globe was way smaller? At what point do
obviously
you have
then,
to?
well,
Well,
yeah.
at what point does it go from you would to you wouldn't? What
Well, I
size
don't know that
globe?
point, but you said about a beach ball. If you were to do railroad tracks on a beach ball, certainly that would be a problem, because the
Yeah.
railroad tracks are too big, and they would be hitting the curvature, and you would be off into space, right? Or they'd be level, going off into the air. So on a curved Earth, I'm guessing that I don't even know what you would think of, half mile or something, that if something was a half mile long, and I'm talking about a rigid piece, right? If you
Yeah.
were laying half mile railroad tracks, you would need to take into account, but there's no such thing. Railroad tracks are like, I mean, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's 50 feet. I don't know
So
how long.
there's wiggle room, is what you're saying when it comes to this. If it's big enough, like matter will just adjust to
Which is
something.
crazy to think, but I mean, like, I guess the way that somebody explained this to me once, and I was like, oh, okay, I guess I kind of get it, is if you just picture a Home Depot, now picture we blow out the sides, now picture that there's nothing but Home Depots. The whole world's just a Home Depot, right? So now we
Yeah.
just got a Home Depot all around the world. So if it's flat, okay, and if it's a ball Earth as big as they tell us, 25,000 miles around, then they would basically operate the same, meaning no matter where you were that you set a level down in a Home Depot, it would say level, 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 level,
Sure.
level, level. Okay, it's all level. And then if you were going to say build railroad tracks, no matter where you laid a railroad track would be level. That 20-foot section is level, and then the next 20-foot section is level, and then the next 20 section is level. So where you would
Yeah,
have
but if you
problems is,
leveled like a laser, though, eventually it wouldn't be. It would
a laser
start
is
to.
different. A laser is one continuous line. So I'm not saying if you laid a
Yeah.
mile track of, if you had a big piece that was a mile big, which is stupid to even think about, right? But let's say you have a railroad track piece that's a mile. Well, then
Yeah.
obviously you have taken into account, because you would lay down that mile and it would be 8 inches above at the end, be 8 inches further from the ground. But if you're talking about
Right.
small sections of anything, which is how we build everything, we build bridges in small sections, we build railroads in small sections, we build tunnels in small sections, and then you would essentially not use the curvature of the Earth in that equation. At least I don't see a reason why you would. So that's the only thing that's really changed for me, I guess, versus what I used to believe versus what I now believe. And then this was just something that caught me off guard in the way that I said, oh, somebody's thinking about going down to Antarctica. Okay, good idea. I've thought about that before. But usually all I could find, I would look at those cruises that go basically from Ushuaia, then they go down there and then come back. And they're like 7 or 10 day cruises. They're like $15,000, but you never go within the Arctic or the Antarctic Circle. So you really wouldn't even see a 24-hour sun. And then what Globers always try and do is they always try and get you to say, well, you could just go down to Ushuaia and see the sun set south of west, and then you'll know that it's going around the back end of a ball. I don't agree with that at all, because I've seen on ray diagrams, I've showed people where you can get that weird arc that starts south of east and sets south of west, but it still be traveling in the way that we say that the sun travels. So I've never taken that into any account, but I didn't think you could be able to get to 80 degrees or 90 degrees for any price that any of us would ever afford. And I did kind of think that somebody in the community would eventually go. But we've been doing this 9 years, and nobody's gone to Antarctica, and nobody's gone to the North Pole, which is kind of disheartening, but I understand why. I've had tons of people who have messaged me and said, like, you're going to die, they're going to kill you. And I'm like, okay, so what you're essentially saying, though, is that
I don't think they're trying to kill you.
Well,
I think they might try to have a talking with you and say, hey, play ball. Here's, here's some threats, or like maybe like, I don't know. This is morbid, but if they have like your wife on the phone or something while you're down there, I don't know.
Very true.
Something like that is what I would think is more likely. And then you come back like it's a ball.
So here's the problem. Here's the problem with thinking that way, though, is that what you're essentially saying is that
I don't really think that.
No, but I know. But
I'm just throwing things out there.
If we entertain that thought, then the problem becomes we'll never ever solve anything, and we'll never stop the elite from controlling the world because people are so afraid. They're so frightened.
People can't help have ideas, though. I mean, we're going to think these things, and we should just be able to say them out there. I think a lot of people are claiming things or as ideas. Or I think people are throwing ideas out there, and you might be interpreting them a little bit more serious than they mean to. I think people are just like, hey, what about this? Hey, what about this?
For somebody to message me, I've gotten like 40 messages at this point of people describing how I will die. So,
well, yeah, you are a huge icon in this community. So 40 people that are nuts off their rocker are going to do that. For sure, right. Just statistically. And you're talking about something that is one of the most triggering things. So you're gonna,
but I'm talking about people that I would consider like friends and smart, right? So
what?
People that I would consider to be smart and know what they're talking about say like, well, and I get their point. Their point is they're never going to let you go down there and observe the sun setting. They're never going to let you bring back evidence that the Earth is flat. So therefore, you're going down there for either to get played by some trick or to be part of some hit piece. Those are basically the only options, or to die and become a martyr. So they're like, don't go. So I just asked them back. I'm like, well, what you're basically saying is that then because I've come out and said what I have no ability to go anywhere. If somebody were to offer me a flight around the world, you're saying I would have to say no because they could kill me. There's no way they would let me bring back evidence. I just feel like that is the way this elite runs this world, is through fear. They don't ever have to do anything because everyone's afraid of them. And one of those examples is not one person has gone to Antarctica or the North Pole. We've been doing this for 9 years. So they've obviously scared everybody into the position that nobody wants to even verify this anymore. So I get it. For the most part, I have already made my decision about what the shape of the Earth is, and there would be very few things that could switch me. However, this would be one of them, because if you think about what the flat Earth is, there's only one spot on a flat Earth that could watch a sun go around their head, and that would be the North Pole, right? Mm-hmm. Everything, as you start to get outside of that, you're going to have a less and less chance of seeing a sun going around your head. So if you go down to the south and we see the sun go around our head in the opposite direction,
at the opposite time of the year,
it just doesn't. What are the possibilities for that to take place? Now, I'm the first one to admit I could be completely wrong, in which case, very easy for people who want to say, Jaron, you're wrong. Okay, then show me. The problem with that is that I will pretty much guarantee that you never will show me, because
let's think outside the box of possibilities that can go down, like way outside the box. Like, what if, like, this last flight that flies you in, what if they're taking you to a giant studio stage where the sun's different or something? Like it's a giant Truman Show just for people down there to get this experience. It's like, I'm just thinking stupid stuff, just throwing it out there. Or it sets and then a new one pops out, so it looks like it's there. Like, is it possible that you'll see it set, but then like a new one, they have like something there that they can do for that specific area in Antarctica? I
think there's no possibility.
It's insane. No, it's insane.
Yeah, I don't think it could fake the sun. I don't think that we've heard about sun simulators and they've shown pictures of them and patents, but we're talking. They're having a simulator sun. They're not talking about putting it up in the sky and making it shine light on the ground below it and heat and everything else that the sun has to bring. And it's got the same sunspots, and it's got, like, if we're out there,
saying, it's like an identifying thing. If you can, the sunspots.
And what we're talking about going down there, just so people understand, like Austin and I have talked, like, we don't have any interest in seeing a penguin. We don't have any interest in going skiing, going hiking, going and looking at the scenery. we would be down there for one reason, and that would be to watch the sun. We would take shifts so that one of us was always awake outside of the tent watching the sun. Cameras would be running. I would go to bed. I'd wake up. Okay, I'm taking over. Now I'm taking. He would go to bed, and we would keep it so that there's never somebody taking their eye off the sun. We would watch it the whole time, and we would see what it does. Now, if it went around us, and like you said, we would have an infrared camera. We would have a solar filter, so we'd be able to see the sunspots. If it was any kind of reflection or any kind of new sun coming in or a fake sun coming in, there would have to be a transition time. There'd have to be a time where they, now, if we went down there and right where the sun is supposed to set, there comes clouds, and then an hour goes by and then out pops this different sun, and we kind of look at like, what the hell was that? But we actually have evidence that look at every time it was going to set or rise, there was cloud cover. That is flat earth evidence. That's not globe earth evidence, right? Like we can't predict that right now. It's 6 months ahead of time. I can't predict to you. Like
If I was a betting man, that's what I think would probably happen. If
I would think that they would just cloud the whole sky. I think this is what I think is going to happen.
Don't we have cameras that can see through that, like infrared? Doesn't that
not like really thick clouds? I mean, yeah, you can see a little bit, but I think Duffy will spend a bunch of money, 150,000 or more, and then a bunch of people will go down there, and the cloud cover will be for 3 days, and then that's it. He'll lose his money. Now, the point of that is that it discourages anybody from ever going again, right? Next time somebody thinks about going, they're gonna be like, well, remember that guy Duffy spent 150,000 and didn't see shit. So that I think would be the elite's best move, would be to muck up the sky, which we know NASA can make clouds, do it for 3 days, make it so that we don't see a thing, and they just say, oh, there's some storm that came through, and that's it. And then everybody leaves, and Duffy's out the money, and nobody goes again because they're discouraged. That's what I ultimately think is going to happen. Second, like you said, it could be them trying to fake a sun behind us. I don't think that's very smart of them. I think that they would expose themselves if the sun, it would need to be at the perfect angle behind you in Antarctica, and it would somehow have to transition from the real sun to the fake sun. I just think that that's
it's very unlikely. Very
unlikely. Yeah. So, I mean, that's the kind of my thought on it. And as far as them killing anybody, so one of the things I think Austin made a great point. Austin's like, why isn't Duffy going? If he's paying, why wouldn't he go? That seems funny. I agree. So then he made the sayings or made the demand.
He has to go.
He has to go. So that right there. Now, the second thing that Austin and I would say to Duffy is we would say, at no point in time, even if something comes up or it's crazy, would we get on a different plane from you? Meaning we don't get down there and then they're like, oh, we need to take 2 flights to Antarctica. You guys get in that plane. We're going to get in this one. Nope. Right. So that would be in the contract that we're not taking any separate planes. We're not taking any separate cars. We're not taking any, so that we are always with Duffy, with McKeegan. Then they've got a whole bunch of employees from ALE going down. They've got anybody else who's going on the trip, plus a pilot. So the thought that they would kill me, kill Duffy, kill McKeegan, kill Austin, kill the pilot, kill employees of their own company. And like, that would be all that you guys would need to know that you can expose this worldwide now. I mean,
that would be way sketch.
Yeah, it'd be just the most sketchy thing ever. What if you guys woke up tomorrow and they're like, oh, Jaron and Austin died in a plane crash? But that doesn't happen. Supposedly these guys go down to Antarctica all the time. There's no planes that crash in Antarctica. So to think that it would just happen on that, I mean, it would be so obvious. And this is why they don't do things like that. When they kill people at weird times, or not when it's like public. We don't have, publicly, Michael Jackson's going to be in this concert, and then they killed him at that concert, right? They just don't do that. It's like they operate more in the shadows than that. So
except for Epstein, that was kind of predictable.
Yeah, wasn't it? So he was in jail, and then they said that he hung himself or something. That's the whole thing.
Yeah, him and McAfee, like he kind of predicted that too. But
yeah, but I guess that one kind of makes sense because they killed him, and then they said he hung himself, right? So yeah, it would be a little bit different for us. It's like you couldn't kill me and say I hung myself. That wouldn't make any sense.
Oh my God, that'd be so fucked up if they're like, well, it turned out he was really depressed and decided to go.
And he went on this trip. Yeah. And that's why I said I wanted somebody to go with me, because originally he was saying like, oh, you won second place in this contest or something. And I'm like, so he's offering me a free trip. And I'm like, I'm not going down there by myself. Like, you're crazy. I said, if I go down there by myself, it's very easy to be like, oh, Jaron had a heart attack. And it's so funny because I heard people saying like, oh, Jaron thinks they can kill people with heart attacks. Well, I do think that, but also I'm not saying how they would kill me. They could just say Jaron had a heart attack. And if that happened, then I don't think there's a lot of things that people could do. People could be like, well, did he really? Oh, I don't know. You know, he smoked
This
weed.
community needs to chill out. We are so fucking paranoid. Like I'm realizing that we have, because you're right. Like when you get so much bullshit and when you get this far down the rabbit hole, we get to an unhealthy level of this kind of shit. And this is the kind of thing that I like to focus on, to try to help with, because all these things we're talking about is just purely from fear-based, trauma of being lied to and waking up to flat earth. It does take in, it's a lot, it's a lot. It changes our entire view on the world. We can get very cynical. Thank you, Upside Down Guy, for 10 more gifts for people. That's amazing. Thank you. Real quick super chat. Taking Back Eden says thank you, much love. And Tone Blair says hope the trip actually happens, and I'm excited to see what you guys find. Cool. Yeah, I think this is my prediction. I think these people are arrogant and stupid. I think because they haven't looked into it, they have that like we all did. So they're not really worried about it. They're acting very confident, and I think that's scaring a little bit for flat earthers that aren't fully on, that haven't done this. And you're right. Maybe some people hopped in this as more of a religion, and they just liked the community and kind of see it more of, and they haven't done the fucking work to like feel 100% in their heart that this is the way it is. I do. I'm not worried about it. And I just see I see these guys just confident in something that 99% of the world would back them up on. Easily.
Right. They're so confident because it has to be that way, right? Because they believe the globe, they believe flat earthers are stupid. There's no way flat earthers are smarter than all the teachers and professors. So they feel like since the globe demands a 24-hour sun, and it must be the case, and so they're very confident, and they definitely want.
That's scary because their confidence it is pretty authentic because it is. So anybody that doesn't have flat earth, like if you're shaky on flat earth, you haven't done the deep dive, you haven't desperately tried to debunk it and gone through like the initiation of being a part of this community to understand it and really get it, it's going to be threatening. And for sure, because that's, they're very confident. Now, if they were all like, oh, I don't know, what if it is flat? What if it is flat, guys? Like, then we'd be like, it'd be easier. But we have to put our money where our mouth is here and be like, and not be afraid of it. And at the very freaking least, if it is a ball, like it's so sad that it had to come to this. So not worst case, but at the very least, you're doing a good thing, a huge thing for humanity. Like, your life will change no matter what after this. If you prove that it's flat, your life is going to change like crazy. If you film a 24-hour sun, you're going to be known for that guy too that finally did it. Either way, it's going to be huge unless they make it inconclusive, and I just don't see how they can pull that off. We got to figure out a way to get cameras that can follow a sun. Let's get you up to the north for like a practice like this summer. Can we get you up there just to like do something similar? Like that way you and Austin can be like, okay, it's going the opposite way, but we can film it like this. This is what we'll expect. And we can try it with all like the different cloud problems. And that way, something like that. Like, how much would that cost? I think Duffy's willing to pay for that.
Like, the guy going for the globe is McKeegan, who's a camera guy, right? So at least he has camera knowledge. And so it wouldn't be on us to be so knowledgeable about how many cameras we're going to need, what kind of cameras, which kind of battery packs, how will these batteries withhold the cold, all that stuff. But I think that it makes more sense to me to like challenge the elite than to just let them get away with things, right? So if we just say, oh, they'll just fake it, so we're not going down there, then they don't have to fake it, right? So
film the faking. That's what we want.
Right, exactly. That's what I'm saying. And so why not force them to do this? Like whatever they're going to do, force them to do it.
Yeah.
So if they're going to, and I don't want to say kill people, but I'm saying if they were going to do that, force them to do that. And then you guys would all know. And I'm not trying to be a martyr. I don't want to be a martyr, but I'm just saying if that's the worst case scenario, then it really is being a martyr, because from there, like if I was, obviously I don't think you'd be in heaven, but I'm just saying if I were to ever see the world in a year after that happened to be like, you guys didn't do anything. We went down there and died, and you guys weren't smart enough to realize, like, if it was a bunch of other people going, and they died on this trip. You got to make it my mission to make sure everybody knew. Look at these. We sent these guys down there. They were going to do a test to determine the shape of the Earth, and they got killed. And this is. I would think that's a big deal, but I don't think that they do that. If they did that, they would eliminate our channels from YouTube. They don't do that, right? They have all these little methods. They don't put you in up next. They don't put you in recommended. They shadow ban you. Everything's always this kind of shady because they want the crazy people thinking that the Earth is flat. They want that crazy person on the internet. If they didn't, they would just get rid of us. There would be, oh, you're talking flat Earth, you're off YouTube. They don't do that. They just hide us, right? So it's like their little subverted messages, their little way of. So I don't think it's as simple as, oh, they'll just kill us. They would have to do something else. So I think that's cloud the sky.
I just think it's the perfect fucking thing to just end this deception, because you can't. It's just nobody can buy that it needs to be censored like the Schmack scenes were. Like they could be brainwashed into thinking like you're not allowed to talk about that on YouTube, and anybody that watches the news can be like, oh, they made a good case for why we need to get rid of free speech when we talk about that. Fine, okay, fine, but everybody, there's just no argument for this with flat Earth. So I mean, they just are working with their parameters. There's really not much. That's why it's such a beautiful thing. That's why I love.
And it's the only so much. What else do they put little things underneath the videos about?
I actually looked online. I was trying to get a list of all of them, and I even wrote to YouTube because it's there's a lot.
We should know.
We should know, and there should be a list for it, and but there's not. I mean, it's like Rothschilds. I saw one the other day. It was like a PBS channel, and it said this is an American broadcast channel. I'm like, fuck off. Who cares? Oh, it's an American.
Oh, good.
Whatever that means. Can you ask Richard Hart to sponsor some tickets for more people to go? We can all wear Pulse Chain merch.
I like it. I don't think Richard Hart is going to answer any of my messages right now, but that's a good idea. I mean, and if people go back and look at some of the things I used to say, I've always said, hey, this will go until a rich Christian comes along that wants to spend the money to prove this. Because there's other ways. I mean, there is other ways that I would say things are falsifiable. For example, if you were able to keep, the equator on the ball Earth is a straight line, right? You stay straight the whole time. The equator on a flat Earth is curved. Now, that's not as easy as just like, oh, we'll fly my plane and see if I curve or not. You wouldn't notice. It's such a minute curve, kind of like we just talked about with railroad tracks. You wouldn't notice that curve that you're actually making. It would be so minute. But there is still ways that you could do it with a gyro, right? You could start spinning a gyro. Dave Weiss talks about this. It's a great idea, great experiment. But I guess people are upset because they're like, well, Jaron, you don't know every model of the flat Earth. You don't know. I totally agree with you. So I'm just saying to people, now some people have said, why would we even go about making a new model until we find out if that's the case? And I totally agree. I'm not saying you need to spend any time on it right now. Let us go down there and observe. If we come back and say there was a 24-hour sun, then you better get on the drawing pad and start figuring out how could that work on a flat Earth. But if it doesn't work on a flat Earth, to still believe in a flat Earth, to me, is just so why would God make the world in a way that makes it look like a ball? Which would be the case. If we have somebody in the north, sun goes around them, somebody in the south, sun goes around them the opposite direction, that why would God make it so that we thought it was a ball if it wasn't? To me, I think that God made it very flat, very level, very stationary. This is the creation. The earth is all that there is. I don't think anybody's upside down underneath me. That's my current belief. So it all makes sense with me right now. Would it make sense if the sun goes around me in the south? No, wouldn't make sense at all. Why would the sun ever be behind somebody in Antarctica? Antarctica.
It makes zero sense. It makes zero sense. Unless there's like more, like another world out there, and that sun, because that would be a different sun. There's no way. There's no way. But like, we should all stop worrying about what it means and everything, and like whatever outcome means. We should just be like, let's just go get the fucking proof. Let's just go film it, and then can determine after that. We don't have to worry about what each scenario.
You don't need to be dependent on me. Like, people are acting like if I come back and say I saw a 24-hour sun and say that it's a globe Earth, that they all need to follow along. You can believe nobody. You can do it.
You guys, we're supposed to do our own research here. Like, what kind of flat earther would I be if I just took your word for it, dude? Yeah. I'm gonna be like, no shit. I want to go see that 24-hour sun down there too.
Right. And I would.
I would just want to see it anyway. I do trust you. But I'd like to see it too.
Yeah, and I guess I
And
wouldn't trust anybody's word for it, but I think that I would probably trust a video. Like if let's say you go down there, and I'd be like, okay, could Crumb have been contacted, or could he be compromised or whatever? And then, but if you brought back video footage, and it wouldn't just be one video, you're talking about having a bunch of people down there. There would be an infrared video, there would be a solar filter video, there would be a nonstop recording, there would be a time lapse recording. So if that all came back and showed it, I don't think that I would have a choice but to say that now the evidence better fits the globe as far as that goes, because the sun. People always say, the other thing I've heard of people saying, you can't judge the shape of the Earth by the lights in the sky. It's like, yeah, that's a different argument. When we say that, we're talking about, you can't say, oh, everything in the sky is a sphere, so we're a sphere. We're not
right,
saying that. That's totally different. We're saying we know the sun traverses the Earth. Nobody disagrees with that. We know when it's noon at Brazil, the sun is right above their head. When it's noon at Australia, sun is above their head. Noon in Africa, sun is above their head. We know that. So there is no mechanism by which the sun would go around somebody on the outskirts of the flat Earth. It
no,
would in the middle,
you're
but
you're
not in the
absolutely
outside.
right.
Right. So
No,
to me, it's
that
just
was
like,
the
okay,
one thing I desperately wanted to see exactly what you're getting, and it was maddening that I couldn't find anything
it's why I
except
believe
for bullshit. And now there are some that look better, but are
they
easily
still weren't
sketched.
around in 2015 when we started at all.
Yeah, exactly. That's why it's so sketchy. And I did
There's
see
lots of
one
things.
yesterday that actually did look believable, and it was a VR one. Have you seen that one?
Yeah, I think you can move your guy around 360.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
Yeah, but
I
even
saw
that,
it on my
even
phone.
if you go look at that, I mean, the clouds seem to conglomerate where it would rise and conglomerate where it would set. Like that one to me would be very questionable. Very.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
No, I'm sure. I didn't analyze it, and every time someone does a deep dive on this, like the sun rays are all this are all, like there's things that are like, oh my god, they did. I've never seen a doctored VR video, but I'm sure it's not that hard, especially
Nowadays, you
now.
can't believe anything with video nowadays. I mean, I guess that's why I'm being a little selfish, is be like, oh, send me down there because at least I would know, right? But
Well,
um,
yeah,
but I mean, again, I don't
but
expect people to trust me. That's the thing. That's why I actually say I'm not the right person for this. I think somebody else should go, because I've just got too bad of a reputation with behind the curve, that people are already suspect. So let somebody else go, and hopefully it's somebody I trust and would be able to look at their video footage when they get back and make up my mind. But that is when you find something that one model describes as being something that has to happen, and another model that describes it not being possible, then if you go down and see that it is possible, clearly one model is correct. And it would be the one that said it was possible, not the one that said, no, this isn't possible, and then went and saw it. So that's why I find the flat Earth to be falsifiable, which is a good thing. I think it's a good thing. And I think it's okay to stand behind your beliefs and say, I don't think that there's a 24-hour sun. I'll go down there and observe. If there is, considering my model says it's impossible, then how would I stay stuck to my model that I've been preaching for 9 years? I don't think you'd really be able to. So that's just me. Again, most people don't see it the same way. Most people that I've seen say, it doesn't matter. There's still no curvature. Therefore, the Earth is flat. I'm like, okay, but there is an observation that cannot happen on your flat Earth. So now what? Oh, well, you still believe it. Okay, well, then you're in a religion. That's not, you're not basing anything off of evidence. You're just saying, I'm still going to believe it despite the evidence, which is not my position. I'm not a Christian. Maybe that's why, to me, I don't have any kind of a lot of people are married to the Bible and they feel like the Bible says it's this way, so it must be that way. I think that the Bible is written by people of that time, and they would write whatever they thought was the truth. So to me, I expect the Bible to be a flat Earth book. I expect that. Whether they were describing actual reality or not, I think that they were. That's what I guess you can find out. I was going to show you this video by this guy, if I can find, here it is. So this guy, he's got 83 views on this video, and let me just show you this, because I think it would help with some people saying, oh, they could have a sound stage or something. Let me share my screen.
I mean, these are far fetched. I mean, I literally I'm at the bottom of the barrel of ideas. Like, none of this stuff I feel like is actually realistic. It's just
Right.
we're trying desperately to figure out like what, just anything. Just I think I mean,
I'm gonna
but
try and do
this
something
does
that
kind
might
of look
knock me
fake.
out.
And I look nice.
Hopefully I don't knock me out here. Let me try something real quick. I just want to change to this. Am I still here?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, good.
Okay.
I
So,
switched.
okay, let me take this off. I'll take this.
Collections over here, or what do you call it? It's
Yeah.
profiles. All right. So this picture here, this video here. So this guy here, John McKinney, I reached out to him. We'll see. He only got 83 views, 15 subscribers, but he said he went down to Union Glacier for a 7-day visit. This is the one I was talking about where he's in the plane, and you can actually see there's like barely any. Is this the one or the other video? There's like barely any employees. So this is the plane here. Or barely any passengers. It's, you can see here, Antarctic Logistics Support. Antarctic Logistics and Expeditions. So this is the plane that comes out of Buenos Aires, lands down there. This is what you're flying into. So that's not a soundstage. You're going to
What
land.
a beautiful vacation spot for you.
Oh, God,
4 days. $50,000. You get to sit here.
I mean, look at it.
Oh,
Such a joke,
boy.
too. I would never crowdfund this. I would never pay money for this. I mean, to think that you go down there, you fly one flight for 4.5 hours, you land, you go stay in one of these fucking tents, you shit in a bucket and pee in a bottle, and then in 3 days, take you back out of here. Thank you very much. 51,000 or 45,000 bucks. Give me a break. But I did want to talk to this guy because he's basically in this tent, just saying, okay, I'm here, kind of showing you his look around. Now, remember, during quiet time, let's say that everybody goes in their tent, and you can see here, look at the cloud cover here, right? So you could cover it up. Look at the cloud cover here. This could be what it's like for 3 days. All that would happen is Duffy would lose his money. So that's what I expect to have happen. I think you would go down there and you would see this white sky. You wouldn't be able to look through it with any kind of infrared. And that's that. Sorry.
We got to figure out how to track a sun in.
I don't think you can.
In that, there has to be technology for that.
Well,
that would be so lame if that was like the gatekeeping
method
thing.
Well, I mean, look at these people. They don't see, because I do believe in 24-hour light in Antarctica. So I just and the Globe Earth even admits that no, you need to be able to see the sun. It's not just 24 hours of light. Same thing. I heard some other guy talking to Duffy on one of those channels, and he was like, "Oh, and I did the math, and the sun needs to rise at 45 degrees, and it needs to set at 45 degrees." And Duffy kind of pulled yeah. And then I messaged Duffy after. I'm like, "Dude, that is so wrong." I said, "If the sun rises or sets anywhere, the globe's dead. You don't get to name where it gets to set. It doesn't set. It's the 24-hour sun. So why are you letting Globers tell you if it needs to rise here and it needs? No, it doesn't. It does. If it rises anywhere or sets anywhere, globe's done. Period. There's no, if it has to rise here for it to be flat. No, your model requires the sun to go around my head in circles. So
don't you think somebody who took this trip would remember being like, "Oh, cool, the sun just went around." But I think they're acting as if Globers just don't care about that phenomenon, but that's ridiculous.
But if you went out there and went in that tent and went to sleep, it would be light outside, so you would think the sun was out. So you might just go to sleep, because again, people are going to sleep. People have they're going to ski, they have things to do the next day. Nobody's just going to go there and want to stay up all night. Plus, it's freezing cold, so you would want to be in your tent where it's warm. So I think that I could see it being that some people. Now, can I see it going for 25 years and nobody has a fucking video? No. That's what's so weird. That's why I say there must be some reason. Although I used to think, I was like, 25 years, they probably put 70 people down there a year. I was trying to do the math on that. But if you go back to this guy's channel, you'll notice that he has, let me see if I can find where he was. He did 2 videos on, right here, 2. So which one did we just watch? I think this is the one we haven't watched. So this one here, okay, so this is the plane. He flies down. I'm going to show you the plane. Come on. So the plane, that's a tiny little plane. Where's that plane? Oh, that's like a little biplane. So you can also go down there and take one of these little planes to the South Pole. Obviously, we wouldn't do anything like that. I would stay right at that little camp. But he shows the bigger plane here. Oh, here we go. So it's like a plane, like a normal plane that you're used to seeing, with 3 seats next to each window. Where does he show everybody in the plane? You could just tell there's nobody on it. Like literally, they're picking up these 7 guys.
These 747. Like, why? I know they're huge.
Huge. Well, I guess you don't want to probably fly down there in something smaller. Not if you're actually crossing the Southern Ocean. Now, once you're down there, I could see taking a little plane to the South Pole's 600 miles away, so it's not that much of a trek. But where does this guy show all the people in the plane? Anyway, I saw a spot where you can see that there's like nobody in there. Maybe it's here. That's the other plane. It was the other video because that's the small plane there that you take to South Pole. We wouldn't do that. But there's a plane where you can see it's like basically like a what do you call it, Southwest jet, but with all the seats empty. So
Yeah.
so I started thinking, okay, so they only take down the people who pay this big money. Maybe some years there isn't even anybody who goes down. Maybe some years they take 50. Maybe some years they take 20. But I do think that there would definitely be a. Let me see if it's here and we just missed it. There would definitely be videos of it, and there's not.
Are you going to be in communication like the entire trip? Are
I don't
you
know anything
able
about, I don't
to?
even know if I'm going yet. So I mean, obviously, I haven't gotten any logistics of that stuff yet.
But if you, are you going to try for that? Like that would be ideal.
Yeah, so
At
we
least
do.
on like
I
a
mean, I looked into it. There's a phone down there, so you can call people. You know,
I know,
it's
but like, what about like low frequency like walkie talkies that are like wide range, but
walkie-talkie
or
goes
something like that.
20 miles. Is there?
Um,
I don't think
wait,
so.
what's up?
I said I don't think there's even walkie-talkies that go like beyond 20 miles. So I don't think that's.
Well, what's the range that like the Navy uses that's like super far? That
That I don't know.
there's there is a frequency band that's for that. I don't know. I mean, let's get you some some high tech spyware shit, or not spyware, but what am I thinking of? What's that show?
Oh, there we go.
Get smart. Get smart. All
See,
those
this
fun
guy's
little
on this
things.
plane, and he's like, it's just him and then his friends.
Yeah.
The whole plane's empty. So they have this big plane. They can go down with 70 people, but 70 people would have to each pay 45,000 each. Probably not good chances. But the other thing I've heard people say is they're like, well, what if they're taking you somewhere else that isn't? How do we know you're going to that spot that they say? Well, again, if we go back to, let me bring this up real quick. If we go back to this, I don't remember where I put my drawing pad here. Phone? No. I think I called it iPad. Oh, I did it on the other one. That's why. Shoot. Hold on 1 second. Forgot I did it on my other profile. iPad. I just want to show you this and add window capture. Window capture. And that one. And that one. Nope. I want the A Power Soft Mirror. Okay. There we go. So, oops, you can't see that. There we go. So what we know for a fact is that we're going to Punta Arenas, right? So here's, let's say this is the flat earth again. And we've got North America, South America. Okay. So Punta Arenas is at the very bottom of South America. So we know we fly there. There's nowhere else we could be. I mean, obviously I'll be able to know that I'm in the city of Punta Arenas. If I fly from, say, San Francisco down there. Okay. Oops. That would be way farther than San Francisco. Let's go draw that actually real. So we're going to fly from San Francisco down there. Okay. So now the flight from Punta Arenas to Union Glacier is 4 hours or 4.5. So let's think about where else could I be going, right? Like we know that here's New Zealand, here's Australia, here's Africa, wherever. So you're
gonna have a compass to like know which way you're going, regardless of what the plane's telling you, right?
Well, you would have a compass, right? But I mean, you're talking about an area like this that you can maybe go to, right? You probably can't make it back to the United States, which that wouldn't help them anyway. Where would we be able to see that kind of landscape with just nothing but snow and ice? And even if we did, again, if you're in the north, let's say for some reason they fly us up north, the sun's going the wrong way. So number one, it can't
exactly, and it'd be the wrong time of the year,
right? So it just eliminates that. So then from here, we could fly out here to the ocean. We could fly over here to the ocean, but again, why would there be an island that is just nothing but snow? Let's say that there is, it still doesn't necessitate a sun going around you. So it tells me that that this is a I've thought about all these things and said, okay, well, how do I know I'm going to the right place? Well, if you're flying 4.5 hours from here, chances are you're probably ending up out on the outskirts of the earth somehow like that, right? You're ending up somewhere out here in Antarctica. And again, the one guy who messaged me yesterday, he said something during my show, and then I went and checked out. He was like, well, let's say that you're not very far out. Let's say you're only here. He said, well, the sun comes around. It could go behind you. I'm like, okay, you didn't understand what I meant. That's not, number one, be going the wrong direction. They don't say that happens. We would see the sun at noon here, and it would go around you.
Yeah.
So then he's like, oh, okay, I see what you mean. So I'm like, yeah. So people are confused when I say there's no reason for the sun to go behind you in Antarctica. They're like, I guess that guy thought that was one way it could by it being behind you, but that's not what we mean. We mean it's circling you.
Yeah.
Supposedly. Again, I don't believe
Physically
that.
seeing it.
Yeah, you have to see it. It would be not very high in the sky. I mean, it would be like
Yeah, very low.
But it also, and then I'll show you one other video. If you go to, I type in, let me put this over here. If I type in Union Glacier, come on, left side browser. If I type in Union Glacier, Union Glacier Park eclipse. There's a 24-hour video. This one here. So if you go here, this is at Union Glacier, and we can actually see that if we turn around here, this is what you would see from there. Okay, so is that a sound stage? Are they able to? No, it doesn't look like to me. I mean, you would fly in here. So you're going to get in on a plane in Punta Arenas, fly south. You actually would probably see the sun. I'm assuming you would be flying during the day, not at night. So we would see the sun. We would land and see the sun. Now, from the time we land and see the sun, it's supposed to go around your head, just circle your head. Now, that wouldn't even make sense to me. Why are these mountains covered in snow? Why is the ground covered in snow if there's a fucking sun that just circles around your head 24 hours a day? So there's lots of reasons why I don't believe that's the case. But I'm able to say that, and I've just been shocked at the people that have not been able to, and who say, I'm a shill now for just saying, if I see evidence that leads me to change my belief, I'm going to change my belief. People are like, shill. Oh, yeah, you're a shill now if you follow evidence. People are just so lost in this community sometimes. It baffles me.
I thought shill was somebody that does stuff for money. How would that be like?
I don't know. They say that word for anything.
I don't know what the word shill means. I feel like
the word
it's so overused.
Like, so overused. But if you, let's say that I'm going to go into a town tomorrow and I sell tooth cream. And so I send you ahead of it. And I say, hey, go there to that town and go to the bar and start drinking and then complain of a toothache and pretend like you have the worst toothache ever and that you have to leave. And then tomorrow when I go into town, then you're going to hear me come in with some tooth cream and everyone in the town's going to be like, that guy, he's got a toothache. And then I'm going to give it to you and you're going to be cured. And then we'll sell my tooth cream. That's a shill because the person gets there early.
Oh, well, that's a fucked up thing to call somebody. That's a grifter. That is people need to just stop using, like, if that's what that means, stop using that word. That's ridiculous. Show some proof. You can't just say like, oh, you can't just call people these things without proof. You don't call people pedophiles unless there's like proof, because that is a huge accusation that could fuck somebody up. Don't just say it.
They say it all the time too. It's like,
I know they do. It's fucked up. But I mean, usually there's some reason. Like how are you shilling? What are you?
Because people think I've been doing this for 9 years. I've been spinning my wheels and talking about flat Earth, and then they're like already saying, oh, Jaron already flipped. This is all planned out. He's gonna go down there and flip.
You know how genius you would have to be to know that it's a ball, but come up with such a convincing argument that it's flat when it wasn't. Yeah, and to make all this money that you can't make on any of these platforms. And I know for a fact, like, you're struggling, like you have to do like side hustles. It makes so little sense. It's really kind of offensive. Like, whenever they bring up the money thing, it's so dumb.
Yeah, there's like Professor Dave, right, to say that we're grifting and like, you're making hundreds of thousands of dollars.
We say like, well, they're making money because like through super chats and supports. Like, every topic, every niche online has that.
Right.
Why? Like, that makes everybody that by that logic. Like, that's just nice. That's supporting.
And if
by the way, thanks for all the super chats, everybody, and the memberships. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, if you're doing a service for people though, and you're getting paid for it, that's not grifting, right? We don't call it
not at all.
Or otherwise, Neil deGrasse Tyson is a grifter, right? Which again,
when you're doing something of value, though, like, people are going to ask how they can support whether you want to or not. I mean, I've played so many gigs where they're like, "Where's your tip jar?" And I just like either forgot or maybe like that's part of the deal is no tip jar. It's already paid for. But people feel inclined to, just like I did with you, man. I totally did, because I felt like you gave me a value. And so whether you like it or not, people are going to give you money because you're providing a value. There's I don't know.
There's nobody. I mean, there's nobody making any kind of huge dollars here anyway. Even if you look at somebody like Dave Weiss,
even if you were, who gives a shit? Like, what's wrong with that? What's wrong with people making some?
Right.
Absolutely. And he's worked his ass off for it.
Correct. Nobody's making $500,000 a year or even $250,000 a year. Nobody's making anything close to that. If you're talking about creators, none of us are making more than $30,000 a year in total, and that's everything that we're doing, including Patreon and me doing consultations and having a crypto class and everything. You just aren't going to make money here. So again, you're doing it as a sacrifice, and people make it sound like you're getting rewarded.
Plus, like once you do it, you can't oh, let me go back to normalcy and apply for this job.
Right.
Just don't look up my info online.
Right. And you have to make that cognitive decision, like I'm going to stop doing this and do that, which is, I mean, again, I don't forget who said it. Somebody on one of my shows was talking about how not everybody can go to war, but people can pay for bullets for the war. And it's kind of the equivalent of like, you guys can't really go out and say some of the stuff that I can because you have jobs, you have careers, you have, so that's basically my job, you know, and that's why people would buy bullets for me to use when I'm, you know, that's basically the kind of saying. But anyway, this real quick, just to show you this. So this is a 360 video. The sun would be basically here in the north, let's say, and then it's supposed to wrap around you. And that just doesn't make sense.
The perfect day for that.
Yes.
Hopefully it looks like that.
That's what I would hope. But you can also see people were complaining about the mountains, and I don't think that any of these mountains are going to get in the way of the sun. They're not high enough. Even this one here, if you're talking about barely, maybe it barely goes, but it shouldn't be that low, not on the date that we're going. I forgot I got that one place I can check what the lowest it would go. But I don't know, what is that about? Probably 10, would you guess? What would you say is degrees? 15?
Yeah.
15 or 20? I think it's probably the lowest that you would see it. And I don't know when this date was. Oh, does it say? Eclipse of December 4th, 2021. So I wonder if that weird. I wonder if you could figure out what direction that is. Huh. Never even thought about that. Like if that's south, that's weird. Because, let me check.
That would be weird.
That'd be weird. Let me check it out.
That's interesting. Yeah, north, that actually is a good point.
At south, it would be its lowest. At north, it would be its highest. And that doesn't look like it would be its highest. That's why I'm a little bit confused. But I'll check and see if we can figure out this location. Because on Google Earth, you can actually go down and find that.
Oh, shit. Let's do that right now. Yeah, put that mountain up.
We're doing it live. So we're
doing it live.
We're going to go down to 80 degrees, which is 70, 87, 80 is over here. Okay, so it's about here. And there's some, whoops. But that's not a latitude.
Wow, what if that is facing south? Holy shit.
That'd be weird.
Holy shit. What do you guys think? Look in the audience or the chat.
Sure, they're saying show. No, I'm just kidding. Okay.
You know, for somebody that get into what you're doing, you should know that like people are going to say shit just based on your content alone.
Yeah,
you know?
I guess I
like you kind of signed up for the wrong thing if you're going to let other people's.
Yeah, but I mean, it's your own community. That's what's rough, right? Is it?
I know, but it's not though. Like a lot of this, it's just they're the most vocal. I think this community, like you guys, the ones that are supportive, that are not like that, like please reach out to Jaron and let him know that like it's not everybody. It might seem that way, but it's definitely not. I don't see it like that at all.
No, it's not everyone. No, it's not. Certainly not.
I know, but but you know, sometimes people need reassurance. When that's all you see.
A couple people have messaged me and said that, like, hey, if anybody went down there, I would trust you. You're the only person I know on the internet that has always been honest. So, I mean, there's good people saying good things.
Good.
I'm trying to figure out if I can see if I can make this match. So I think I kind of am in the right spot, but I don't really know. Let's see if we can find a spot. Oh. So it looks like it's just empty. And then, I don't know. That doesn't, there's only one set of mountains. Is that correct? See, it only looks like there's one set. There's just, wait, is this two? I can't tell. So that's facing west. Those mountains are facing
west. What's that link? I'll put it up on my screen so you can kind of match it or something, or take a screenshot of that.
I've got this one right here. You can just flip back to it like this.
Oh, there we go.
But so
that's that mountain.
I don't know, because it only showed the mountain in one, but this one shows mountains like all around. See? So I don't think we're in the right spot, because this one showed mountains only in the west. And there's like blank everywhere else. So let me get up a little bit higher and see if I can figure out a better spot. So it looked like there was mountains all around. I know it's the Ellsworth Mountains. So I think it is. Maybe it's in here. Maybe that's where that pocket is. Let me go down in here. See if they're in this section here. I just know it's about 80. And let's go. Okay, let's see if this makes any more sense. So now we have more mountains around us. Okay, that probably looks better. So then if we go back here and go to that blank spot, which is there, then we should have mountains to the left, mountains to the left, and then let's keep going. A little low spot, more mountains, a low spot, more mountains. That's a pretty big cliff there. I don't really see that. Oh, maybe it's that one.
Yep, there it is.
And let's see here. Okay. And then we got
Other-
blank spot here. Where's that on here? I feel like we're already back to where we started, this big
Can
empty
you zoom in on that?
So that's that big empty spot. What, say again?
You zoom in. If it's 360, like, you might be able to.
You mean, oh, on the
Not on this one, on the other one.
I don't
Might
think
be
so.
able to.
I don't know how you could tell where they're. Wait, total eclipse December 14th is the location Union Glacier.
Sometimes you can use your mouse to actually zoom in on 360.
I'm using my mouse, but it's just doing turning. Using my right click doesn't work.
I mean, your the roller thing. Try
Okay, I
that.
got that roller. Oops, it just rolls the. No,
Ah,
you roll the page.
okay.
So I don't know.
Um,
Figure it out. Let me see if we can. Like I don't know any of these mountains or anything. I can't really pinpoint any of them.
that one looked pretty much like it.
This
That
cliff.
one looked. That did look pretty similar, but who knows? I mean, mountains look like mountains.
You're talking about
That
this.
does look a lot like it. Well,
It kind of has that
oh.
drop off that's weird to me. Like this part here where it just drops. Like I don't really see that here. Let me see if I can just tell one more time here. If I could figure out where. I don't think this says Union Glacier there either. I think Union Glacier is on the other side. Let me see. So we pull out. I think Union Glacier is here. So it's more, I think, in this section. Patriot Hills. That doesn't help me. There's one that shows the Union Glacier sign. Let me see if I can find it. I know that's. Oops. Let me just do that one. This
Hmm. My money is that it's facing north. We're gonna figure that out. That'd be
Okay,
That'd be
so
amazing.
this one. Why does it keep showing me the same picture?
Incredible.
That's so weird. There's one that shows like the sign. There's like a sign. No, I don't know why I can't find it. It's got like a stacked sign on it. Where am I seeing this? Is that all the pictures? 2? Come on, there's always this other picture that shows like the a stacked sign. Let me see what I'm missing here. Oh, maybe it's this one. No. Wendy at Patriot Hills. I've never even heard that.
Patriot.
Yeah, I never even heard them mention that. Patriot Hills. Maybe here. Okay, there it is. So this is a sign that's at Union Glacier. So this shows it here. So maybe down here. Let's try that in this section. See if it makes any difference. If not, I don't know how you'd ever find that. Okay, so let's see. Is there still an empty spot? Okay, so there's that empty spot there. This looks more like it, right? So that's those mountains that don't drop off, but then almost shows mountains all the way behind you. So these ones, and they. Okay, so let's start that blank spot. Okay, so that seems, and then if we go right, looks like we should start into some mountains like that. Right. Okay.
Yeah.
You got the big face.
Yeah. Pretty much it right there. Yeah.
Big face. And then you've got keep turning. We should see more. It keeps going. Okay. And then it should stop shortly after that into this little hill. Shortly after that, little hill. And it kind of looks close. I don't know. I wouldn't bank anything on it. But
Okay.
so it looks like
So which way is north?
North is looks like towards the emptiness, or almost here. Oh, so if the sun is, where do we say the sun was? So wait, hold on. There's a blank spot here, and the blank spot is kind of westish, eastish. Sorry. Let's go here. So if this blank, so this would be east,
Okay.
and then see here. If it was above that hill, that would be south. So over here, I don't really know. I don't know how to really tell if I'm exactly looking in the right spot. But east would make sense, but not.
Where's that?
Now things going backwards. I'm like getting confused. So east to, it still would be east on our right, north in front of us, west to our left. Yeah, it doesn't change.
Yeah.
Doesn't flip. So if this is east, then that would be north. Yeah, I don't know. I think this would be east, but I can't really tell if that's in the right spot. But if it is, I mean, south would be behind north. So if we're talking about here, then south would be straight back this way.
There.
Oh, I wonder if this
Yeah.
is this the actual runway? Because I bet you can see.
Oh, that would be a good way to know exactly where we're at.
Let me see if you can see the runway on here. I didn't even think about that. Come on. Oh, exit ground level. I don't know if they even show that on here. Runway. Do you see anything that looks like a runway? I do not. Oh, kind of. No. I don't see anything. Looks like a runway. You?
Say anything.
I can't see anything. Oh, what's this thing here? It kind of looks like a little. What is that? That's
Oh
weird.
yeah,
Well,
could
what
be a
is that? Can't be
runway.
trees. Can't be. There's no trees there. What would this
Like
be?
claw marks.
Looks like water. Huh. I don't know what those would be. Isn't that weird?
That is weird.
Why would there be stripes in there like that? I'm assuming, I don't know which way the runway would go, but I'm assuming it would be cardinal, like this, north, south, east, west. I don't know.
So which way was it? Was that was just going toward the east in that
No,
picture?
I mean these little claw marks.
No, the sun throughout that video. Did it go anywhere near the south?
Oh, they don't show the sun move, so it's only a 9-minute video. So it's just they show you. All
Right
you can do
there.
is verify that it moves right to left. Whoops.
Yeah.
Right here.
But that area though, like that mountain range, that's okay, so that's east. So that would be like the morning, probably, right?
Right, because we said north was at the blank spot. So that would be east, and this would be south. Almost like exactly where this line is for the center of this 360. You know, you have to pass
Okay.
together. It kind of looks like it runs north-south. That's why I was looking if I could figure out if there was a runway, it probably runs north-south.
Yeah.
And then this would be east. Right. So again, even if the sun rose way over here, to me, that's fine. It just cannot be above my head in the south. That just doesn't make sense to me. But with the ray tracer, I do see reasons why the sun would rise south of west or south of east and set south of west. But anyway, I was trying to see if we could see that.
That's fascinating. That's fascinating.
Yeah. So it's, I still think that, I've kind of eliminated some things from me. Oh, here's Union Glacier Station. It says it right there. Oh, this is the runway right here. Wait. Okay. This kind of looks like, what is that? I don't know what that is. Does this look like a runway to you? It doesn't look big enough. It is it, huh? Probably is the runway. Yep, because this is the campground. Okay, so then
Okay.
let me see if we can figure this out better. So now here, if we spin around, now it looks like we're like engulfed by mountains. That doesn't look the same. Well, is that the blank spot where they're at? Let me see. Oh, I do. The other problem is I have the, because I was trying to see the mountains, I have it on exaggerated. Let me lower it back to reality. Where's the runway here? Is that running north-south? That would tell me something. Yeah, I bet it is. The runway is probably exactly, it's not. It's running. Wow, that would be running not even cardinal at all. Looks like it's running what, northeast?
Okay.
Yeah.
Northeast.
So still have that in east. I don't know though. This is showing the camp next to the runway, and that's not what we see here. I don't see any camp. Oh, do you?
Yeah.
I don't see the.
Well,
the tents anywhere. No,
I don't see any tents.
I think they went somewhere else.
I love how they have quiet time. They can't just make the tents like a little bit farther out. You got all this.
It's so stupid.
Like, sorry, we have to just crunch up next to each other and then like we're in a library.
Oh,
I would just be like, I'm gonna go over here, like here with my tent and play my guitar for all night.
No, quiet. You gotta keep quiet. No, I think the lady told me like, oh, because we don't want people going out hiking in the middle of the night or something and then getting lost or something. That was their excuse.
Why don't they treat us like adults after you spend $50,000?
Maybe that's.
They're gonna change my diapers out there too for $50,000.
Yes, they will. They better.
I'm like literally like at this point.
They better. What's this tall thing here? Somebody set up like a tall. You see this thing? Looks like a stick camera or something. I don't know what that is.
Oh.
It's pretty tall. That's 50 feet tall or something.
I'm trying to look up Starlink coverage because it's claiming that they.
I heard that
Have
there's
you-
down there. That's what somebody said.
Well, it says it covers like 99.6% of all of Earth. I'm wondering if you can stay in contact down there using Starlink,
I don't know.
but I doubt it. I'm not seeing any. It doesn't look like there's anything when I do a quick Google search.
Video on Union Glacier. Now this time they have a whole bunch of tents. I thought that it said the limit they could take was 70 people. That's like a lot of tents. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Can we
6.
set up like a solar powered webcam down there that you can like leave permanently?
That's a good
That
idea.
doesn't stop every 8 hours.
They didn't say anything about that. I mean, I would have to talk
that-
to somebody about how to do that because every time I've tried to do a time lapse, my camera lasts like 2 hours. So obviously,
Well, I mean, even if just like you had something that was pointing towards the south, like during the time the other ones cut out, just something like that we can keep that's ours, that's there, like somehow, like I don't know.
good question. I don't know either.
I mean, it'd be worth looking into to see if we can do, in case it's like super cloudy and it isn't conclusive. Like maybe we can
I
have
agree.
that
I
as a
haven't worried
backup.
about any of it yet because it doesn't matter until I am told I'm going. So it
Oh,
doesn't.
that's right.
I mean, at least to me, I just haven't really dug real deep into it, other than to say, okay, could they take me somewhere else? Probably not. Right? It's going to be probably this location. Again, I'd be able to look at this and say, okay, this is what I expect to see, and go down and be like, you guys took me somewhere that's not even close to where I'm supposed to be. Again, I think that they do take people down there. I do think that people can go there. So, it's
Yeah.
I get why people would have issues with it, but is it calling me a shill, or the issues you should have with it would only be after if we saw the 24-hour sun, right? Which that would be the chances of that I think are very slim. So for me, I wouldn't have anybody worry about it. I don't think people should worry about it, and I don't think you should care about the name. The name doesn't matter. If the guy wants to call it the ultimate, final, last experiment ever of all time, it doesn't mean that because you say, oh, it's a pretty good observation, doesn't mean that you agree that it's the last test ever. And there should never be a last test ever. There should always be the ability to test something
Continuous.
again. Right. So
Yeah,
again,
this would be just like one proof for the globe. Finally, it'd be one. Okay, that's good. We're on the track. We're figuring out what the fuck we're on.
Yeah. But it's a little more than that for me, because it is not just one of these evidences that can be explained away, right? Like there's already a ton of those. Like we see Canada go too far. Oh, refraction. We do this. Okay, there's all these excuses, but there's not something that cannot be explained. And that's what this would be if you saw a 24-hour sun. And again, could I be wrong? Absolutely. So show me one, because if you really think about it, if you use your head right now and kind of just think that we have in the North Pole a fact, we know that the sun goes around us left to right in the summer for the North. So now if you think about somebody in the South on the outskirts of the flat Earth, having the sun go around them 24 hours in the 6 months later, like that just doesn't work because it's not conducive to a flat plane. A flat plane can't have the sun go around another direction. Again, this is not the same as people might say, well, what are you talking about with clockwise and counterclockwise? That's different. The stars rise in the east and set in the west. And from one perspective, looking south to the north, you would see them go right to left over the top of your shoulders, which would be counterclockwise. And then if you turn around and face south, now they're going left to right over your head, which would be clockwise. But that's different than this. We're not talking about clockwise and anti-clockwise with the sun. We're talking about it moving left to right, right to left, right?
Yeah. So, it's completely different than what we're seeing with the stars.
And if the sun was just moving like that, then it would be the case, right? Because we know that from the north looking south, the sun moves left to right. So on the flat Earth, from the south looking north, it should move right to left. We got that.
Yeah.
Going around your head is the part.
For sure.
How does it go around your head? Because here's another way of looking at it. Oh, I already kind of explained it. Just how would the sun be in Australia at that same time? Whereas, as much as I hate to say it, there is a model, the globe model, that does call for that. Now, again, just because I'm saying that, that's me being honest, not telling you, oh, this is what he
do
really
people see the same stars? Okay, you know how that happens though with you know, you go towards the south and it starts, the stars trails, switch. But if you're in Antarctica and you see a star,
Well, we wouldn't see any stars.
you wouldn't see it in the same thing overlooking Australia either, right? So does that happen where we see the same star in like over
I don't know.
like in the south, like above Santiago, and the same star you could see it above?
Well, I think that we would see it would just be further advanced of the circle, right, of the moving disk of stars. But I mean,
Yeah.
again, for this particular observation, we wouldn't be there when there's stars, so we wouldn't even see stars at all because it's going to be daytime the whole time. It's going to be light the whole time. That I don't disagree with. We've shown how the copy of caustic can explain that. But
Yeah.
so if you look here, I went to 1215 on this map just so I could show that why I think it's pretty determinable. So let's say that we're going to look south right now. So I already said that there's no reason for the sun to be behind us in Antarctica on 1214 if the Earth is flat. So if you look at the globe calls for us to turn around in Antarctica and see the sun, number one, and that explains why Australia is getting light. Because if you think about a ball, well, Australia is on the other side of the ball, right on the other side of Antarctica, right? So we go this way, and you're going to hit Australia, which is where. Let's get up a little higher. Where are we at? Where did I go? Australia will be over here. So this way. So that's what I mean by there's the globe model calls for this. It has to have a 24-hour sun because it has to be behind the person here in Australia looking south because it's lighting up Australia. So we know we can't disagree with the fact that at noon for Australia, it will be being lit up by the sun that's above it. Everybody agrees.
Wouldn't it also have to mean that the Earth is spinning if there's a 24-hour sun in Antarctica?
No, why? Well, the sun could be moving around. So
But
I mean,
if it's
if I'm ever compromised, you want to hear right now, just so you're hearing me record this conversation, is that if I'm ever compromised, I would come back and I would say things like, "We did go to the moon, that we, that we do fly through space, that we do spin." Those are not indicative. Going and seeing the sun would convince me that we can't be on a flat plane if the sun is behind me in Antarctica, but it wouldn't convince me of anything else. Right? It doesn't convince me that NASA is not fake. It wouldn't convince me that the sun is 867,000 miles wide. It wouldn't convince me that we're traveling through space, that we're flying through space at 1,000,000 miles per hour. It wouldn't convince me of any of those things. It would only convince me that it appears either. I said in a comment the other day that I think it tells us three things. Either one, it's a globe, or two, it is a simulation meant to look like a globe, or three, it's a flat model that we don't know yet. That's basically what it tells us. And it would have to be one of those things. And to me, I'm been doing this for 9 years and have looked into the idea of there being some sort of 24-hour sun in the south or a way that we could model it. People have shown like a figure 8 map, or I don't know if you remember, I think his name was Flat Earth Hero or somebody like that used to posit that the sun goes around. Basically, I don't know how to, I would have to draw it. But basically, he kind of drew it like the sun goes around the north in the northern summer, and then it deviates and goes around the South Pole in the southern summer. And like Antarctica was like a piece of the flat map. You know what I'm saying? Have you ever seen that?
Oh, I've never seen that, but
Flat Earth Hero, is that his name?
like it's not the ice wall; it's like a
right. It's just it is actually he said that the Antarctic is actually a continent, but it's a continent on a flat Earth. I don't know if this is him or not. I don't remember what the name of the channel was, but let me see if he's got any.
We need to figure out. We need to get Vegas involved on this.
Yeah, let's make some.
like if we need to get like what are like the odds or like the bets in Vegas on 24-hour sun on sun setting? Like, let's see what the Mirage is all about. I bet you we can make a fortune. I bet you the odds are probably going to be in our favor. 10 to 1, 100 to 1. I mean, considering that it completely changes everything, that would be amazing if Vegas was like, yeah, go ahead and bet. Like the odds are like on it's flat. Yeah, you'll get like $100 per dollar you bet on. I mean, think about it. Like, wouldn't like how could they not? We could rank in on this, guys. Let's make money.
On BetMoose, you can set up your own bets, and then that's what I did to win all this money from people who thought that Dear Moon would launch.
Oh, really?
Yeah, if
Oh,
you go
that's genius.
if you go to bet, and then I still am owed $500. By the way, I'm keeping a consecutive days of being a dirt ball counter, and that's 19 days for Arctic Reflections. Arctic Reflections, who has already lost a bet to me, that is, will Dear Moon go to the moon in 2024? Now, because they've canceled, that means the bet's over. He should pay me. He says he's waiting
Yeah.
until December 31st. I'm like, okay, you're a dirtbag. So I'm going to keep a consecutive days being a dirtbag counter on my channel just for him to know that, like, it'd be the equivalent of me betting you that the 49ers will win the Super Bowl and then they don't make the playoffs. And then you're like, all right, pay up. And I'm like, no, I'll wait to pay you till after the Super Bowl. You would think I was the biggest dirtbag ever. You'd be like,
Yeah,
what are you
no.
talking about? You already lost the
Oh,
bet.
people are always going to do that shit.
But
They're
why?
always going to do that shit.
Why? I mean, that's a sore loser. It's like so bad.
I agree. I
Maybe
agree. Or they just didn't want to pay it, and they'll find out. You know, people are weird with money. It brings out a lot of the worst in people. But I mean,
I'm a person that pays up my bets. You know, it's like
sure, well, you're a man of integrity. But you know, this trip, if it gets enough like exposure, I'd be like, so was there odds on that bet that you did? Was there like, or was it 50?
It's power mutual, right? So it means that however many people. So for instance, if I bet a Bitcoin, let's say, that I say it's not going to happen, and then somebody comes and they bet a half Bitcoin, well, I can only win a half Bitcoin because there's only a half Bitcoin on the other side, right? But that person could technically win a Bitcoin because they're betting against that. I don't know why it's not coming up.
I see how that works. Okay, so like the more popular bet will be based on how many people bet for that one, and then the odds kind of figure themselves out.
Right. So you would and that's basically what really happens in Vegas, technically speaking, is what's going on behind the scenes. Oh, here we go. So this one here.
You know how many people in the world are going to think this is easy money betting on globe Earth? How hilarious is that? We got to get on this. This is how we all get rich, guys. We need to publicize the shit out of this. Get Vegas to take bets. Get 99% of the world who are just arrogantly think they're going to just whatever, free money. Let's bet against these idiot flat earthers. And guess what? We walk out of there with bank, and now we're doing our own trips because if everybody in the world got in on that, the odds would be like 1 to 1,000. Every dollar would be $1,000 that you bet easily if the whole world knew about it.
It's showing that I made $4,883, which that's what the value is now. But when I bet it, Bitcoin was like, I don't know, 26,000 or something. So I bet 0.06, which I think at the time was, I want to say I bet $1,000. So, but again, the value went up. It's not necessarily because you look here, somebody else came behind me and bet no. Somebody else came behind me and bet no. And then 2 anonymous people bet yes, but they barely bet anything. Then another guy bet no, this dragon guy. And then, so all the Globers didn't put their names on there. They basically went.
Man, I'm going to start pushing this bet hard the next 6 months. I'm going to publicize the shit out of it and set something up, get the whole world involved. Everybody thinks it'll be easy fucking money. Yeah, right. Dude, that's how we're going to do this.
Then have a whole bunch, because then you'd have a whole bunch of Globers that would go there. They would all be pusses, though. They would all not put their names, just like those guys didn't. And then we take their money. So yeah, that's what basically is. These are all pari-mutuel. So you'll see here, this is U.S. president election 2024. So what you can do is you can come here and host your own bet. You just put whatever bet you want, and then people start loading money. You'll see here. So if we wanted to bet, so it's going to be who's going to win, who wins. What will be the result of the presidential election?
If the trip is stopped, then it would stop. Like, what would happen if a game didn't happen? Talking to Flat Earth Eric here. You know, I'm not sure how that works, but yeah,
it could be one of the options. You could say, you know, will the trip happen? Would be one of the bets. You could put whatever bet you want.
Sure.
You can see here what, you know, these people are betting. So what you can do is once the bet is placed, you can figure out how much money you can make. So let's say we thought for sure Biden was going to win. We'd come in, we'd go here, and we'd say, okay, what happens if we bet 0.01? Well, there's a 28% investment or a return on investment to 0.12, but you could start playing around and say, what if I get one?
God, where was this when the COVID thing just went down? And I'm like, how does everybody falling for this? I wish I would have been making so much. March being like, all right, guys, let's bet on how this turns out. We would have made a fortune.
Would have made a lot.
This is where truthers need to get their money, because we're all right on this stuff. Like the moon, they're going to go to the moon, guys. They're going to Mars. Like, All
Well, the
right,
only
let's.
problem with the site though is you have to bet. It has to be within a year, so you can't.
Okay.
Because otherwise, who's going to put money down that they have to come back and remember 6 years later? So
No,
every
yeah,
bet,
no, a year. That's perfect. I mean, that's good.
yeah, if you can
Holy
bet
shit.
next year, and it's all user submitted bets. It's never, this one Tyson versus Paul, 2024 hurricane season. You could bet anything. You could bet as long as it can be determined. And you have to put your logic for the answer, meaning that if it's the election, you say according to CNN on this date, who will be the president?
Gotcha.
It's got to be something like that, because they had problems with the whole Biden Trump last time. They held everybody's money until after January 6th.
Oh, right.
Because they weren't ready to make the determination who won, because it was like contested. So
Yeah.
that's always a problem. But
Oh, yeah. Yeah. That one for sure was. Yeah, I
I like-
remember that's how we knew there was election issues, because Vegas was like, we ain't buying it. That's so funny.
launch a nuclear attack in 2024. The one thing I got in trouble for one time is I put "Will Biden die in 2020," and then they took it down and said you can't do death bets. Okay, I guess.
Oh yeah, because that
might
encourages assassin markets.
Anyway,
Since you're talking about crypto, I'm just curious: is there any cryptos that you think are good right now? Any picks? I'm starting to kind of look at the charts again because I have a feeling it's worth doing.
Bitcoin and Ethereum.
The classics.
Yeah, I mean, I think that if you look at my portfolio, my history, I've learned that everything else that I bought has gone down. There's just nothing else I've ever bought that has. Well, I mean, there's a couple things, I guess, like there's a couple Ethereum assets that have gone up. Shiba Inu. I remember my son said he was going to buy some, and then I just didn't like the idea of him having all these coins and me not. So like, I better go get some Shiba Inu. I'm not going to be very happy if my son's like, Dad, I'm a millionaire, and that's the coin I didn't know. So I bought some of that, and that's gone up, 3 or 4 times. But yeah, I mean, I think that Ethereum is going to be around for a long time. I think Bitcoin's not going anywhere. So again, it's expensive now. I mean, if you go back when I first started talking about crypto on my channel, I was telling people to get 0.25 Bitcoin, because then you own more than 99% of the world. And at the time, it was like $4,000. Yeah. So now that is 18,000 or something. So it's a little bit more expensive.
It adds up. Yeah. I mean,
now it's crazy to think of like what even 0.1 is or something.
Well, it looks like the bubble burst on crypto.
It always goes down, it always comes back up.
Always comes up.
It
seems like now's a good time though, because like it just seems like it's just I don't know, like it has been a lot of people that are like into crypto are even like not talking about it. So it's like energetically in the world, this would be statistically like a really good time. And then I was looking at the pulse chain stuff. I can't believe how low that is.
Yeah, that baffles me.
But I mean, I enjoy that project and using that kind of.
The thing about that's going to come down to is whether or not Richard Hart goes to jail or not. So if Richard Hart, I mean, he's being tried by the SEC and all this stuff. So if he gets off, then that coin will immediately fly up in value. And if he gets found guilty, then it will immediately plummet.
Maybe we should take a bet on if he's found guilty or not on this website here.
I wonder what the date of his court case is. I don't even know. He is fighting it. And I think that I read his deposition or whatever you want to call it, his answer to the charges. And he's right. They have it all confused. He's not even in this country, number one. Actually, he's not in the United States. He's in somewhere else. But there's lots of reasons why I don't think that he will be found guilty. So again, and it's like people think it's a Ponzi scheme and that's what he's going to get in trouble for. It depends on what you consider a Ponzi scheme. A Ponzi scheme is when you promise money that hasn't been accumulated yet, right? So if I told everybody, hey, give me a half Bitcoin and in a year, I'll give you one. So people start saying, that sounds like a great deal. So they start giving me half Bitcoins. And then what I do is I just collect Bitcoins from everybody. And as I get one Bitcoin, then I pay that person out, right? But I would always it's like floating checks, right? I'm always going to be short. And then eventually the money runs out and all the people that came after a certain time would get nothing, even though I promised them. So that's what a Ponzi scheme is. What Richard Hart did is he promised a percentage of coins. A number of coins. The problem with the difference between that is that you will get that amount of coins. So it's not necessarily a Ponzi scheme. If he told you, he basically said, give me 100 coins and in 10 years, I'll give you 1,000 coins. People are calling that a Ponzi, but it's not a Ponzi because you are actually going to get 1,000 coins. Now, what are their values? That's completely different. So I think that's why the SEC is trying to get him. They think he's a scammer trying to scam.
How's any different than like baseball cards? If I say, here's $5, you get 20 cards. What are their values? I don't know. Like however you guys like these players, that's up to you. That's up to the market, you know? So it's,
That's the excuse. When in a Ponzi scheme, you're not doing that. In a Ponzi scheme, you're actually putting dollar amounts on it. So it'd be like you giving baseball cards and saying, here's these cards that you paid $5 for. In a year, they will be worth $25. That's
Ponzi. Exactly. That's
that. Right.
Can't do that.
Right. That's what they call it, making money off the work of others or something. So, or expecting money from the work of others. So anyway, that's why that's not allowed. But what he did is to say, if you give 100 coins here in 10 years, I'll give you 1,000 coins. But then he wrote it into the contract that in 10 years, it's going to pay you out 1,000 coins. So I think he's got a good defense. Again, the question becomes, is he doing that to scam people, or does he really think those coins will have value in the future? I think he really does think that those coins will have value because people will keep doing that, right? So somebody who's does it today and gets them out in 10 years, well, somebody did it in 8 years from now, and they get theirs out in 8 years after that you got paid. So everybody kind of always, I see both sides. It is kind of a Ponzi scheme because eventually it has to run out, right? Like you're going to.
Well, I mean, all crypto kind of is, if you look at it like that. So like the single, like Richard Hartout is a little strange.
Yeah, they don't like him. He's eccentric. He came on my show and pissed me off right in the first 3 seconds when he.
You guys were hilarious. That was a
$1,000 watch. It's like what? Yeah. And that to me is like I want to hurt somebody.
That's my biggest red flag. Like, what the fuck? Honestly, like I learned about astrology and that he's a Libra. It gave him a little bit of okay, this is just how they are.
He also like hex is like a 6, right? Isn't it 666 is a hex? I mean, it's
like, yeah, the symbol has 6 sides in there. I mean,
and hex is 6. It just seems a little. And then
it has 3 hexes. So I'm like, oh, there's that, but
right. There's
I don't know. I mean, that's a little.
Has 33 validators. It's like what?
I know. That's the kind of shit that like I'm like, damn it. Am I just going?
Kind. Those people do things like that. And I don't think it's like even. It's just like I don't know. I don't know if it's
maybe that's the. Well, they say that 666 means this is where. I mean, you could make money, but it's like a temptation. So maybe it's just letting you know, like, hey, if you get rich here, like,
did you know
it's a temptation?
Unlucky number.
Which one?
7. I didn't know like 7.
Unlucky.
Yeah, it's like supposedly unlucky. It's the death number. It's funny because casinos use it because they want you to think it's lucky, but really it's lucky for them because it's unlucky for you. I don't know. I've heard that recently. I was like,
yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, poker too. Like 7 is a bad card,
right? And craps, you roll 7, you're out.
I know in movies they're like 7, all right. But yeah, but in real life it's like, oh, 7, fuck. It's true. When I think about it.
The slot machines, so you're rooting for the 7s, but the 7s are bad luck.
Yeah.
But again, if you're $1 million, then they're obviously not that bad luck. So yeah, I mean, crypto is kind of all over the place. I think that I've heard a couple interesting things, like people saying that Bitcoin Cash will become better than Bitcoin.
Back.
Well, I've heard that it can become better than Bitcoin because it can scale where Bitcoin really can't. Like Bitcoin can never become the payment method of the future because it doesn't do enough transactions in a minute or whatever it is.
Yeah, that 1 megabyte was a really bad idea. It costs way too much.
Right. And the fees are too much, and those fees could go up if it gets crazier. So I think people say Bitcoin Cash could be big. Besides that, I mean, it's like a lot of little. Some of these other chains might do it well. Cardano, Solana might do it well. But I don't know.
Smart contracts are the future, but it's just getting kind of silly. Monero, I think, is always great, but until people realize why private coins matter, you never know.
Do you still have Pirate, or did you sell all yours?
Oh, I sold it all, of course.
I'm the only one with it left. Like,
no, you're not. Eddie still has it. I had to sell mine to make a living, but I'm gonna buy it back at its low. It's just I don't know.
How much did you sell it for? Do you remember?
Oh, I sold when it was around anywhere from 10, like 15. It was like a little bit, but mainly around like the $9 range. So it helped me through a lot during that time, and it was like a little bit here and there, not always. Just I'm like, oh, I better dip into that. So I don't feel so bad now. But yeah.
No, don't want to see.
Would you publicly announce that you believe in the globe for $1 million? He asks me.
What? No,
16 Alpha says, would I admit that, would I say I believe in the globe for $1 million?
I couldn't lie like that. I couldn't lie. I could, well, yeah, I couldn't lie. I mean, if somebody told me, like, to be honest with you, if somebody showed up at my door and said, here's $10 million, disappear.
I would find any way to like,
might be something I might think
like be like, yeah, I believe in globe. Like, I mean, I'll have fun with it. I mean,
right.
You guys, it's $1 million. I'm going to try to work it here, but I'm not going to wholeheartedly do that. You know,
it came down to lying for money. That's.
It would have to be obvious that I'm lying, or like I'm finding some like loophole. Like, I believe in globes. Sure, I believe. But, you know, I don't think I can honestly be like, no, this is for sure.
20 cents is where pirate is? Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, 20 cents. I bought it when it was at 6 cents.
Yeah, I bought mine at 11 and 20 or 11 and 50. And I was always felt really good about that. And now it's like, okay, well.
Yeah.
Probably am back in for what I started at. But
right.
I mean, one time, do you remember how much you had at one time?
Yeah, I had
the dollar amount that you had.
Well, it was okay. I had was it 20,000 pirates? The dollar amount got up to about like 350,000 in like a couple days. It was something stupid. We were feeling pretty good that week. I remember.
Oh, we had a show or like wearing pirate gear and just dancing. Yeah, I think mine was worth 160,000 and I had 10,000 coins.
Yeah. So, okay. So yeah, I had 20,000. I had some WoW Narrow, you know, at the time.
Asked me, she's like, "Can we take some out and get a car?" And this, and I was like, "No, that's what poor people do." We are before you know.
If I can go back right now, I'd be like, "Oh my god,
stupid.
This just went up 50. This went up like so much percentage."
We should have sold it. Imagine we just sold half of it. Like, just give me the 180,000, give me that 50,000, and then let's see what happens.
Or at least next time something happens like that, I told myself that no matter what, even if I say I should keep it, I should sell it. And then then decide to buy it back, and you know, just so I know I have it. And I'm like, now would I buy this stock at this price? No, I would not. This is a terrible time to buy. So that's what I told myself I would do next time, because if I did sell the pirate, I'm like, okay, buy it back because it's so good. Like, no, it's like that's the last thing you want to do. So
I don't even want to think about it, because the thought of like $60,000 to me is like, so like, why would I have said, how could I be so greedy? And it's because I went through both.
I did too.
So I went through.
I think that was the whole lesson I learned there, because I was like, oh man, I just really wish I had like 60,000. And then when it went way above it, I'm like, well, now I need 1 million because I need to go to Antarctica, obviously. And I'm like, wow, that really does happen fast.
Yeah.
So that was like
for that. So I think now what my thought is that, yeah, if I ever saw something go up like that, I would immediately grab half. Of course, it's never happened again to me. But yeah, I mean, for both instances, because at one time I had a bunch of Bitcoin, like 50 of them, and just sold them over time. And then at the end, when Bitcoin was worth 70,000, you're like, wait, that's 3.5 million. You're like, I'm such an idiot. Why wouldn't I just hold on to those? So then you talk yourself into next time, I'm going to hold on to it. Then you hold on to it and it goes, plummets. And you're like, shit, why didn't I sell some? So
sure. There's a million ways to look at it. You'll go nuts. I remember when I had so many Dogecoin when Dogecoin was nothing.
I probably lost
and I know. Now it would be like I was betting like half a million dollars like on hands. If I would have known during that like 20 minutes back in 2016 that I could have just used that and just held it. Oh my god.
Here's the worst thing is that there's this wallet called Electrum, and you can download it on your computer. It used to be popular. It's not so much anymore. But if I pull up that wallet now, because when you were transferring, this is back in 2013, 2014. When I would transfer money in and out, it would keep track, like a little register, but it always adjusts with the times value. So if I go in there now, it's like I'm just transferring 25,000, 35,000, receiving 22,000.
That's brutal. That's brutal. And that's probably what the IRS sees too.
I
They're
know.
like, okay, so you're gonna owe us like what?
Typical.
On that Dogecoin now is worth this,
Well, I
so
did
you
find
just owe us.
one time I was
You
going through
already paid the tax on the 10 cents, so you just owe us this much more.
I went through all my old I had little books that had things in it and tried to find passwords for just because I wanted to check every wallet. Luckily, I found one had $800 in it, but I was able to look back and see that it was only $22 when I put it in. So it was like
Nice.
Yeah, so it's nice. I mean, how often do you find $800? You're like,
Yeah,
hey.
no, I found a couple $100 the other day in a MetaMask, and I'm like, oh wow, that's cool. That worked out.
In a MetaMask, what did you put in your seed words or something and found it? How'd you?
It was like a coin I had that I forgot to import in it.
Okay.
And I looked up on like Etherscan what's in this wallet, and it showed it. And then I'm like, oh yeah, I just never had that. And I forget what coin it was, but
nice. Well,
something, yeah.
So, moral of the story as far as this experiment goes is that and just I know everybody's got problems with Duffy, and I'll just give my opinion. Number one is that he's friends with Bob Enyart's son, and says that Bob Enyart was his best friend before Bob Enyart died. I always liked Bob Enyart. He was a great guy. I've listened to him on the radio. I used to follow his stuff with creationism and dinosaurs. He was somebody who believed that dinosaurs are recent. Anyway, Duffy took over Bob Enyart's church. Now he's friends with his son, or they've always been friends, whatever. But that was like his best friend or mentor, he calls him. So that's just one point for Duffy as far as I go. It looks pretty true. I don't know why you'd be friends with his son if he wasn't everything he says he was. And he took over his church when he died. So anyway, that's kind of a point for him. The other thing is he's a huge anti-abortion activist. So he goes around and he led some chapter that I've seen pictures of him and videos. He's out protesting against abortion. So that's another thing that's positive. Third thing is that what was the other thing I was thinking that he did well? No, I don't remember. He did something else. Anyway, he just seems like
he seems all right. Yeah, I'm not getting greater sapient vibes off of him or anything.
No, and it's his money. So I mean, again, that's not really. He's not taking any money from me. It was very important to me to point that out. That I don't have money. I'm not paying a penny. I don't have money to buy winter gear. I don't have money to buy a flight down to South America. And it's kind of my whole point was that if you want me to go that bad, then you'll pay for everything. If you don't, then take somebody else. Right? Like I don't care. It doesn't bother me. It's actually less shit I have to do and less shit I have to worry about. So I actually wouldn't care about that. But I haven't seen anything that's like appalling. I mean, again, he became friends with McToon a little bit. Oh, I know what he was going to say. That he also makes a point to keep saying, like, if we see clouds, and it blocks the sun the whole time, or we see it set, then it's over. Like he admits that. Now, again, could that just be him saying that, and they have some deception planned? Possibly. But to me,
he seems exactly what a globe believer who isn't crazy but just is confident that the schooling system that he grew up with is the one. He seems exactly what someone would be like without an agenda, in my opinion. I mean, it's pretty much spot on. Yeah, what he's doing. I can't find anything either. But even whatever it is, like it shouldn't even matter. If he is, like, I don't even understand how you can
find out he worked for the government. That's something, right? If it's like, finds out that Duffy used to work for the CIA 3 years ago, that's a problem. But
these are things we can all find out. The internet's around. Like, can somebody pay the $20 for like People Finder, lookerupper.com and stuff? Like, this is all stuff we can do.
Yeah. So, and I mean, again, I guess it's very easy to say because it's somebody who's paying for your trip. So it's not like I'm having to invest money into something that this guy could be. It's like, well, it's his money. So if we go down there and it's just gray sky the whole time, well, he loses the money. Now I don't lose anything other than my time and effort to go down there. But I went down to Antarctica and all I got was this free winter coat or something. But
that'd be a great shirt. Yeah,
exactly. So anyway, I just don't see as many problems as what people have. And I think he's either for optics or whatever. I don't think he's like hanging out with Toon anymore. He did kind of tell me, by the way, that's what I was going to get. He's also, at least as far as I can tell, geocentric. He may not come out and say that yet.
Really?
Yes, he definitely, because Bob Enyart was. So Bob Enyart talked to him about geocentrism. I think that he is on that team. I think that's why this is important to him. I think that's why it's important to him to get Austin there, is that he feels like he's a pastor and that people in his church started to say the earth was flat. Well, he doesn't want to preach that that's true if it's not, and he doesn't want to preach the globe if it's not true. So to him, that's why it's worth it to him, is to find out,
So
and then
he's
he's doing humanity a favor. But he
Huh.
believes in the globe. So, and again, if you listen to him and Sean Griffin, who I love, he like really lays it out for him. Like he does. The problem with where Duffy is that Duffy believes certain things because men tell him, right? Like the earth's a ball, and that we. But the problem with that is that do you believe in the Bible or do you believe? See, I don't have that problem. For me, I don't have
Yeah.
to worry about that. I don't have to. It doesn't matter if what reality doesn't necessarily match a book that I think was written, 3,000 years ago. But for somebody like a preacher, it does matter because it's the Bible tells you what the earth is. So do you trust the Bible or do you trust reality? And that's kind of what it's a good conversation between him and Sean yesterday. But I thought that Sean definitely portrays the position that you should have, in my opinion, if you're a preacher, which is you go by the Bible. Because like you said, people can come into our church and they could say, okay, well, you believe the Bible as far as our salvation goes and about the resurrection, and all this, but you don't believe it when it's talking about the shape of the earth. That becomes a question for any kind of parishioner or person in your church, right? They're going to be like, well, what do we not believe in some part of the Bible, believe in other parts? So I like Sean. Sean's somebody who just is like Rob Skiba was, who basically just says the Bible's true. I push everything through that filter. I at least give credit to it.
Whether it's uncomfortable or not, I have more respect for that. I mean,
too,
it
way
makes
more.
it sound more goofy to me, but at least
little bit. But
at least people aren't just picking and choosing and like la 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 la. I like a little bit of this. I don't like this. I like this, and this is how the world works. La la la. I know.
And I've seen preachers change their preaching. My brother-in-law, who's a big pastor, we went to church one time. We're like sitting and he preached against tattoos. This book says in the Bible you don't have tattoos. They, the graven images, blah blah blah. Like 3 years later, this is like, you'll never believe who got his arms tattooed. Like who? She was my brother-in-law. I'm like, what? We saw him preach against it. So then we went and watched him preach again. We watched it online, not went this time. But now he preaches that it's okay to get tattoos. Using the same Bible verses, they're just able to just switch it up a little bit where it's like, well, it's in honor of somebody. And if you're doing it to remember that, it's like so over. And then people just eat it up. People in the crowd just eat it up. And I've seen that with Christians on the internet. That's just, you can get away with anything because as long as you're like running it through some sort of biblical explanation. But that's why I like Sean. Sean really sticks to the context of it, and he doesn't deviate from the text, which at least he's got something to stand on, which is more than I can say for most people. Because if you're just a pastor and you're just like, oh, I'm just kind of a fly by day kind of guy, and yeah, we do believe this, but not this. It's like, well, would you really be, if there was a book that you believe some of and not believe other parts, would you be the one who's like, I'm going to go preach this to other people? Well, why? You don't even have anything to stand on. You're just basically
you don't
saying,
believe yourself.
Yeah, like what do I believe today? Whereas at least Sean, if I was ever to go to a church, it would be, to somebody like Sean, where at least I know he's got a foundation, which is more than some people. So I do see the problem with what Duffy's position is, which is because like Sean was asking, well, you don't believe in evolution. You don't believe in these things no, because you believe that the world's lying to you, right? Yes. Okay. So why would you then believe them when it comes to the shape of the earth? So I get it. It's a legit question. And I believe that Duffy is conflicted, and that's why he ultimately is willing to pay for it. Now, again, where's the money coming from? I don't know. Can I picture spending $150,000 for, and then if he wasn't going, he'd be spending like $145,000 and he's not even going. That doesn't seem right.
What's his website? From Boston Bear says from liar to millionaire.
I don't know.
So from military to millionaire. I was reading it wrong. Okay.
Yeah, somebody sent me that, but they said, oh, Duffy used to be in the military. And I didn't see that because I was like, no, I think that's the name of the channel that he was on. Right? Am I wrong? Ask.
I'm just looking on, I think it's the name of the podcast that he did an interview with or something. I don't know. There's a website. You can look into that, but
he's not saying he went from military, right?
I don't know. It looks like he's saying he went from military to millionaire. Check out that website.
A website? What channel?
It's here. I'll just send you the link.
Yeah, please.
In Telegram.
Thank you.
I mean, it's in the chat too, but I'll send it to you right now here. Whoops. Interesting. I do have to. Unfortunately, I have to end the stream kind of soon here.
Okay.
I have a doctor's appointment coming up. I wish I could do this longer, usually on these gravy brunches, they're like an hour, an hour and a half, but this kind of flew by really fast. So but I
So
will
this
have to end it
is
here shortly.
this is not his channel. He says, the guy, it says, David, what's up, military millionaires? I'm your host, David Perret, and today we have Will Duffy on the podcast. And Will and I got connected. So I actually didn't know that I got connected to Will about 6 months ago. My friend Chris handed me a book about interest rates and mortgages and understanding the different. So this is what I find to be such a problem, is that people don't even like look into things. So somebody's passing this around saying that he went from military to millionaire. No, we already know he's a financial advisor. And then he showed up on a podcast called From Military to Millionaire to do a podcast about finances. So again,
I see. So the podcast host used to be a military, and okay, I get it.
Or he's trying to move people to, intro. Welcome to Military Millionaire Podcast, where we teach service members, veterans, and their families how to build wealth through personal finance, entrepreneurship, real estate investing. I'm your host, David Perret, together with my co-host, Alex Felice. We're here to be your no BS guides along the most important mission you'll ever embark on. They talk about a sponsor, and then it just says, welcome to the show, buddy. So Will has nothing to do with that show. So again, that's just the problem, as I find, is people are, if you're going to go looking for negative things, just make sure that it's negative before saying that it is. Because I've seen people send this to me and say, look, at this guy's a millionaire and he's in the military. Well, that neither one of those things are necessarily true. Now, I do think he must have $1 million to be spending 150 on this. But that's, if he did good investments, who am I to say anything about that?
I mean,
I didn't.
Honestly, like if you would have asked me 3 years ago when Pirate hit, I'd be like, no problem. Let's do this thing. Woo-hoo! So, it's all a perspective of where you're at.
Yeah. So again, I think it'd be, I think that he was a financial planner. He says he made his money in good investments. Okay. Those two things seem to check out as far as, he's not, if you're a financial advisor and you say you made good investments and now you have money. And he also, I think was it Sean's show, that somebody asked him, would he post all the receipts? And he said, yes. So he's willing to do it completely out in the open. He's willing to post the receipts. I don't know what good that does. Like, they obviously wouldn't let me fly in a plane unless he pays for it. So I don't think the receipts really mean much, but I could see where somebody would ask that question. So I just don't have the same problems as everybody else is having. Everybody else is like in meltdown mode. And I just think it shouldn't be worried about. Like, what are you worried about? People are acting like this is the make or break thing. Like if it doesn't need to be. You can believe whatever you want. It doesn't
need to be. I mean, if this is an option though, like regardless of him or not, like I think it'd be worth doing.
Well, that's what he says.
Even if you don't want to do it later, but like this is cool that this is an option, and like
he says we should go down there and hide it. We should like not tell them who we are. Like he's saying, if let's say the trip gets canceled or something, he's saying, well, now you know that you can go down there, so just go down there. Now, again, the problem is, of course, who has that kind of money? But he's saying go down there and just.
Well, we will. Well, actually, I mean, we're gonna start once we bet on the thing, but I'm like, wait, that doesn't work. That's a.
So again, I just don't know why people are so worried. I don't know why people have to second guess everything, and they have to not understand our model. Like I heard Karen B wrote a post saying it doesn't matter what the sun does, that the Earth is still flat because we don't measure curvature. So it's like, okay, but so you're willing to stand on your model if it has an observation that doesn't match in any way. That to me, it just seems like I don't want to be that guy. That's a religion. That's just somebody who is adhering to beliefs regardless of the evidence. And I think that that's dumb. Now, again, also calling.
Or she's just saying she's not making any conclusions based off of that. I mean,
well, she actually called it dumb and it's stupid and anybody believe in any of that. And I mean, again, you can take that position. It's just to me, I didn't know that we were that team. I thought that flat Earth was about evidence. That's why we're flat earthers. That's why, because there is no evidence of these things. Now, if evidence comes up, then I feel like you have to go where the evidence is. And that's just weird that people would respond. Again, if I measured curvature, I would be a globe earther. I would hope people would understand that. They'd be like, yeah, well, you measured curvature. So of course you would. Right. If I did this well, if I see a sun that goes behind me in Antarctica, then I would be a globe earther. But people are like, no, you can't do that. It's like, okay, but can you show me any model that a flat earth would have that work? And they can't. And they won't be able to, because it's not how a flat plane works. A flat plane has to work. The sun only goes one direction.
Mhm.
It doesn't. So it only actually circle one person in the middle. It couldn't circle somebody on the
Yeah.
outside. That doesn't make any sense. So
And it just so
again,
happens to be impossible to have this footage up until now. I mean,
and
this
that's
is like 101 bullshit, guys. Like, we've been around the birth. Like, this is like
it
so
won't
many
happen.
red flags. At some point, you just have to be like, come on.
Well,
Like,
I guess I thought a bunch of people would stand up and be like, "Yeah, we say there is no 24-hour sun, so let's go and check it out." And instead, everyone's been like, "What does it matter? Who cares?" And it's like, okay, now we look bad. Now
no,
you look
no,
like we
no.
know all the
Let's go down there. Let's take up on this 100%. You
Yes.
know, this would have happened if this happened like 8 years ago. I could have saved myself so much time and problems if I could go online and be like, oh, look at that. There's an
because
actual video.
Right.
Thank you. That put that to bed instead of losing it in my pajamas for a month looking up freaking webcams.
Right.
That
And
would
I
stop.
think people are upset that that I just say if this happens, and they can't grasp that. They're like, why would you ever say that? Well, because I'm honest. So I say things like, if I have been preaching the wrong model for 9 years, I would like to know, and I would like to correct that as soon as possible. Right.
Yeah.
I don't want to be lying to people. I don't want to be, or wouldn't be lying. I don't want to be giving incorrect information. I don't want to be leading people down the wrong path. So if somebody gives me the opportunity to go find out if I'm right or not, I don't know why I wouldn't take that. That's just me. It's just like, well, now I have the opportunity. You're telling me by December 14th that I would have a good understanding, at least for myself, of what the truth is. Now, when I came back, if you don't want to watch my channel anymore, block me. I don't give a shit. My goal here would be to continue to move people who follow me towards the truth. And if the truth is that there's a sun that goes behind you in Antarctica, then to me, the flat earth no longer has the upper hand as far as the evidence. That's just me. You can complain all you want, but I'm just asking you for one model that shows that it's humanly possible, that it's possible in any way, but nobody's been able to do that. And I think that the fact that nobody's done that for 9 years means it's not
Or
possible.
doctored it and fake and showed obvious fakery. Like, come on.
I just
Like,
think
at the
that
very least, if it is a ball, which is ridiculous, if that is, this
That's
needs to get done for humanity. So at the very least, like we're doing.
I get it. People's complaints is that they would never let you go down and film it, and I agree with you. As long as this isn't like some rollout that they want to have happen this time, or maybe they've wanted it to happen for a long time and just nobody's gone down there. I don't really know, but regardless, I get that point. And so there's no part of me that really thinks I would go down there, film a sunset, come back, upload it to my channel, and be like, look at their sunsets in Antarctica. I don't think there's any possibility of that.
I bet it gets so cold when it's over there, even if it is light. Like, I bet it gets so freaking cold and ridiculous.
Even during the summer,
the
right?
temperature change would have to be. That's another thing. Like, if it was a 24-hour sun, the temperature would probably be consistent. If it's way over there, wouldn't the temperature significantly drop at the very least, even if it's bright?
Good question. I never looked at high and lows. So you're making a point that if the sun did actually go around, so went to the other half of the earth, then we would expect temperature ranges like at night would be really cold and during the day would be really, or night hours would be really. I've never looked at that. I think you probably could look up, again, but that'd be easy for them to fake too. Antarctica.
Well, sure, I guess, yeah, but no, like on what's the record on that?
It's like, about 0. They say 0 to 32 is about the temperature to expect during that time, which it just doesn't make sense to me. How could the sun circle every day? And
if the north is the same temperature, then the south, the temperatures would have to match. That's another proof.
Yeah,
I'm actually curious.
But the water, the difference is there's water at the North Pole and there's a big chunk of ice in the South Pole, which tells me that they're different, right?
Yeah, but why would the temperature like vary if the sun is doing the same like all day long? There's no like highs or lows possibility. It's the same amount all over it. So,
Yeah, it's a good question. You brought up two good things that I hadn't even thought about. This is one of them.
Woohoo!
Oh,
I love that.
The average temperature, the average temperature of the interior is about -71 Fahrenheit. Good luck with that. Coast is warmer, average temperature is about 14 degrees Fahrenheit. It's so funny. It's technically a desert. That's another thing that bothers me. Why is there clouds there? It's the most arid place on Earth. There shouldn't even be clouds. Where's the moisture? Where's the liquid coming from? It's dry. It's completely, it gets like a ½ inch of rain a year. Which is like how much we get in an evening. So
Oh yeah, yeah.
how
I
cool
yeah, they never talk about the rain. Well, it doesn't snow? Isn't it snowing?
I thought I saw somewhere that showed maybe it's on my I thought I saw like a webcam or something that showed the temperature there, but I don't remember where I saw that. It might be on this app that I got called Ventu Sky. It's pretty cool. You can
Huh.
figure out the jet streams and stuff like that, the speeds. Yeah, I don't know where I would look that up. I'd have to check. Would it be time and date? Because I know that they show like I don't know where you'd find that.
Yeah, time and date would probably have that.
And we would just look anywhere,
Um,
like look at South Pole basically, and then
yeah, like if it's like this time of day. I
so
mean, if you're
South
seeing like
Pole.
obvious change in wet in the temperature, like that would
Well,
that's
so right now, so we're at the South. What is today? June 20th. So we're almost exactly at the summer solstice. So that would mean that it's dark there all the time. We really shouldn't have any temperature change, right? But they have it going from negative 56 at 9 a.m. to negative 45. Oh, you can't see this. I want to show you this. It's kind of funny because it just goes up and almost like, hey, show you this and browser. So that's what they show as the temperature for the South Pole. Heading, it's going up here. You can actually longer. There you go. Well, that's just showing it get warmer and warmer and warmer, then colder, colder, colder. That's weird. Look at that. Up,
huh.
then down, then up. Okay, so
What about the north? Does the north experience those changes too?
so like go North Pole?
Yeah.
So right now, I don't know if you put North Pole if they would really even have a place, but we could go like somewhere in Alaska. So North Pole, they don't even have such thing. Let's go with
Yeah, North Pole in
there's no
whatever, like our winter.
let's go with what like Fairbanks, Alaska? Is that up north? What's like a very north place of Alaska? I just need like a city name that's but see then you would expect variance because you're not right in the middle.
Point Barrow.
That's in northern.
Or yeah.
All the way as north as you can get. Point Barrow. I don't
Or
even
yeah, Point Barrow or Nuvik. NUVK.
NUVK?
NUVUK is the highest in Antarctica or in Alaska
I have that being in Canada.
or in Utah.
Okay, that's good though. That's way up northern Canada. They probably are within the circle. So this is for today's weather. So, but you would expect this because the sun is only coming close to you and then going away from you, right? You're not at the center.
Yeah, we need like the North Pole.
Yeah, I don't know. I searched. I don't really see that. If I go North Pole, see, I don't see no North. Oh yeah, we do have one. Wait, North Pole Mountain, North Pole Mountain, New York, Oklahoma. No, those are all mountains. There's no North Pole. I don't know what is the world's most northern city?
I don't know, like what would be like the Scott
Northern city.
like Edmonton
Here we go.
equivalent.
Longyearbyen, Norway. Longyearbyen. Let's check that out. Longyearbyen. Okay, so but again, I would expect this right now because you're still not at the center, so you would still have variance like that, right?
Yeah. Well, just anywhere where there's like
Right.
like if
Isn't
there's a
there-
station that has a 24-hour sun.
Hold on, but why do they have
That
a
should-
sun? I'm so lost here. What? They shouldn't see the sun. Oh yeah. Yeah, they should see the sun. Sorry, I'm getting confused about we're in the northern summer. So they should see the
Yeah.
sun all the time. So this just doesn't mean night. It means the sun is hidden by clouds or something. Because this is all daytime at longer by even. So yeah, I'm sure you'd be able to look in that and see because they should match and they don't. There's all kinds of animals, all kinds of flora and fauna up in the north, but there's not in the south.
Svalbard has the midnight sun the longest.
So,
SVALBARD.
okay.
And that's in Norway.
That's
That'd be interesting to see what their temperature's like.
yeah, but this is weird that before. Oh, I see. This is different places. I was like, why is it doing that for? It's raining. That's weird. When this, yeah, that's weird. Let's go this way. Why is it not see hour by hour weather? So can you change the date now? If I wanted to go check out what it is. Oh yeah, here we go.
Yeah.
But can we go like even further? Oh, that wouldn't tell us the temperature. Feels like sprinkles, overcast. Because I guess I would want to see if the same thing. So
Oh yeah, go to the next there.
September
See,
14th, June 14th. So right about now.
all right.
Oh, we would have to find somebody 80 degrees. That's what we'd want to see.
Okay.
80 degrees today would be about equivalent of 80 degrees December 14th. Let me see if I can find something there. Oh, you got to go. You said we can go. I'm all good.
No, actually, I got a text. I'm okay. I'm good. I could stay a little
Hey,
longer.
who does ad libs with you?
That's Emily.
Okay, I don't know who that is. I
My
thought it was
girlfriend.
Nicole for a second. Oh, she's
Who?
funny.
Yeah,
Nicole,
is she
'cause I
funny?
heard- yeah, she's funny. I was watching her ad lib the other day.
Yeah, that was a fun one.
I thought that it was Nicole for a second. That's why I was wondering who it was.
Oh no, it's Emily. She used to do like the Patrick voice. We would have fun with before.
Let's see, where's 80 degrees here? So this is 69, 70, 80. Right in this line? Yeah, it'd have to be way up here.
Wow.
Where's Norway? Over here.
Norway's isn't that it right there? Yeah, that guy.
Weird that that. Why would it say that Norway's got the most northern city when we've got places up here?
It says it has the longest 24-hour sun of all the cities,
It
but
doesn't make sense. It should be up here.
yeah.
But I don't know. So 80 degrees.
Fairbanks. Yeah, there's Fairbanks. You're right.
So there is no 80 degree land up in the north. I mean, there is like these little islands, but what the hell is this? Looks fun.
But still, like,
What is that?
if you're seeing a 24-hour sun,
What is this? Like,
regardless, like all day, the temperature shouldn't be that different at day and night.
you wouldn't think so. No. But
That's what-
yeah, especially at 80 degrees, I don't see anything. That's weird. Nothing the whole way. Just here, but there's no cities. What's that place called? Huh? Quinnipiac? Okay, good luck up there. Yeah, I don't know about this. I don't see anything in there. So I always thought that Iceland was up that high. I guess not, huh? Where's Iceland? Oh, way lower. Iceland's not even in the Arctic Circle. Learn
Yeah,
something new.
no, it's what happened to Friesland? Wasn't that around there? All well documented.
I
Next
thought
to
there was a
that.
place in here called like what starts with a Q. I was gonna say Queef. I don't think that's it.
It's quaint.
It's Clay. I don't know what it's called though.
Fuck yeah, buddy.
Is it Greenland? What is it? Q something. Q. I don't remember the name of it. What is that? Duar Lakes. Okay. Lots of pictures up in here. Oh, all these North American observation points or something. Who did that? Pretty incredible. Anyway, I just don't think people should worry about it as much. I don't think it's that crazy. I mean, if you want to look into people like Will Duffy, that's fine. I get that. But I think people are a little bit overzealous of just thinking, oh, this is definitely deception, and that it could just be a guy who wants to find out. And I guess that makes more sense to me than somebody's out to kill me. By the way, Sean Griffin made him swear on the Bible yesterday twice, and he did. Not that makes a huge difference, but I guess a person who's deceiving you would probably swear on it and not give a shit, right?
Right. Yeah.
So that's
Which is, I always thought that was weird that the astronauts, like,
so weird.
that's where they're.
Completely doesn't make any sense at all.
Yeah.
Doesn't make any sense. So, yeah, I don't know. You're right. You wouldn't think that. Let me see if we can figure out how low the sun would be here real quick. So I'll go to 80 again. Just want to see if we get the actual height. So 80, and then here. Okay, so we'll drop down to there.
And maybe some people in the chat can kind of help out with some of this
Well, if they
research.
have any
if
questions,
that's-
if they have questions, they can ask those too.
Yeah. I'll start looking at the chat, guys, and see what's going on here.
So we've got that. We're going to go to December.
I want to make sure I read all the. Check your Telegram for the topo view. Credit to Stone. Also, Joe Hanvey said he would go. I know that was a while ago. Sorry, everyone, Boston. They support the non-shilling people. Thank you, Crumb. Thank you, taking back Eden. I think that's all the super chats so far. Thanks, guys. Yeah, I do have my goal here below me. Oh wait, here I am for the Kofi. Even though I'm you can do the super chat now and it's easier. But if anybody wanted to do the Kofi thing, I always appreciate that a little bit more because it's a lot less percentage taken and it's instant, which would be really helpful right now. So if anybody want to get on that, I appreciate it. Are you guys watching? Been a pretty good view count. I think it got up to like 60 for a minute there, which is cool.
I did share it on my Telegram, but so
Awesome.
This is the lowest that you would see it supposedly in the summer. I mean, in the south, and then from there it should get higher as it goes this way. Let's see it go that way. Oops. And then the highest would be dead north. Should be. Oops, can't move it right there. Move it back. So the highest should be there. So it doesn't vary much, but again, I know what you're saying. Like, why would there be any temperature difference in that? It's not
I
that
can't
much
think of any realist. Yeah, anything.
there, and then it goes just around to the south, which would be spin there at the lowest. So yeah, I wouldn't expect there to be that much of a difference, but I don't know how you look that up. Really, we'd have to go. I don't even know if we can go Union Glacier. Is that probably not a? It's not a place. I'm guessing Union Glacier.
I mean, it would have to get freezing in Antarctica once it goes to the other side, regardless of how light it is. That would be obvious, though, wouldn't it?
I would think so.
I know.
I think Antarctica.
Wouldn't all these globers be like, "Hey, isn't that weird that we don't see this whenever our sun and it gets really, really cold?" But
Well, I mean, to them, it's over if there's no 20-hour. I mean, I've already heard McToon says if the sun sets, he'll shut down his channel and put one video up that apologizes to flat earthers and then disappear. I think Fight the Fetcher does the same thing. So again, that it's interesting that they're so sure of themselves. And I think maybe that's why so many people are afraid.
as if them doing that is like what we need as a society to accept it. Like, that's great, guys. Good for you. Everybody else will be doing that too in the world. They're all going to be feeling equate the fool come December. I think you're going to fucking change a lot of shit. I think it's going to be a big shift with this. That's my guess. I think I think people are going to, I don't know. This can really change the structure of a lot of things. If you see that sunset, and when you do, which will happen.
Yeah, that or they muck up the sky. I don't know. I wish this thing told you like there. I was trying to find which place is at 80 degrees, but they don't really. Oh, wait. The second southernmost base is the Chinese Kowloon Station. This is the one we want. Kunlun Station? Kunlun. Please be on here. Of course not. Kunlun? Kunlun. Oh, there it is. Wait. Oh, Kunlun, Antarctica. Doesn't look like it. Anywhere? Antarctica country. No Kunlun base. McMurdo. I don't see any of the K's. All right. That didn't help us. I was just trying to find a place down at it's 80 degrees so I could see what the temperature difference is. But, oh, wait. No. Sorry. That's not what I'm looking at. I just saw that 80 degrees, but I don't know where there would be another one. I know McMurdo is way out by the edge.
Yeah.
I don't know where Casey is. Davis.
Have you seen the footage of like the sun that looks blacked out on some webcams?
Yeah, camera setting. I don't know if that's true or not.
Why is that the only problem in there? Like they just.
Yeah, they say like a camera will overload and it's too bright, so it puts it black. I've never seen my camera do that.
I've never seen that anywhere else ever. That seems like a red flag that it's like an artificial sun or something, and it's obvious. If so, I don't know.
Would tell if there's another. Wow, this already cuts in there. I don't know. You can't see bases here. I don't see any wording popping up. I thought maybe I'd be able to see everything's checked. Yeah, looks like it. Primary database, borders, labels, photos, 3D buildings. Sucks. I thought you'd be able to figure out where if there's another base at 80 degrees, but I don't see anything written.
Yeah,
I don't see any base. Like McMurdo is. Let me look. Davis. See if we can just find one. Davis Station.
They should just put a big middle finger instead of that continent on the
It kind of looks like one, actually.
Hey,
Well, it looks like they've closed their fist.
50.
thank you, Run Boston Bear. Oh, you the man. You see Rose there getting all excited? That's why I like Kofi. I can have Rose come up and she's like, woo!
I got mine. My wife does a I like big butts and I cannot lie rendition. It's pretty nice.
Excellent.
Davis Station's too far. What are the other ones?
Thanks, Run Boston Bear. That was very kind of you. Meet my goal. All right.
You hit your goal?
I hit my goal and won. Shit. Excellent.
San Martin. I'm just writing some of these down real quick. Roth Era and Marambio. M-A-R-A Marabio. And I know McMurdo's not one. Mawson. I don't know if there is one at 80s. And people, people are saying it's not far enough south, but it is. That's 80 degrees.
80 degrees? Sure.
Esperanza.
So is there what you're talking about is a northern equivalent city is what we're kind of looking up right now.
Well, I'm just trying to find a place at 80 degrees south so it's equal to where we'll be and then look at the weather differences. But so far,
I got you.
Flip back to here. I'll just look up a couple of these and see if any of them are close to 80. So we said KC station. I doubt it. KC Antarctica. KC is going to be at way too far north. Yeah, it's all the way at 66. What else do I have here? KC San Martin. Have you ever heard of that? San Martin, Antarctica.
Yeah, we need to get to this north. Why are there's so many maps of like these 4 lands?
Yeah, I know. The Mercator and stuff, you mean?
And you know what's crazy is on Dave's app, if you look at that particular Earth and you take the clock off, which you can do by hitting the clock in the top corner here, and then you zoom, and then if you look at it, it has that. And I asked him, how'd you find this? And he was like, I don't know. Like, it was like, what do you mean? Like, why would this azimuthal like projection have like 4? Like, I'll put it up. Can you guys see that? Like green screen. You probably can't see. It's too bright. But if you look at it and you hit this clock button at the top left corner, and he gets rid of the clock, it has it in there.
The 4 spots.
Have any of us looked into? Oh, thank you, Adam. Let me just see what you said there. Have you looked into Crow 777's 2 suns observation? The sun we see and the sun we don't see. Thanks for the $25 tip. Have you seen that?
I have. I don't know if
Jaron?
he still believes that, because if you see now, he has a hydrogen alpha telescope.
Uh-huh.
And if you ask Rose to see some of his images, I think he would say that the sun is a physical thing. That's what he's taking pictures of, at least. But
Yeah.
as far as both, the sun we see and we don't see, I've seen that with him and what's the other guy's name that is a surveyor on Flat Earth. Can't remember his name. The guy that lives in Colorado. You know who I'm talking about? He also saw the double sun. Anyway, I have seen that, and I don't disagree with it. I do think that it's possible that we see some sort of source sun or something, but it wouldn't be a sun that would go behind you and look like a sun, right? Like, nobody's ever zoomed into it and it's seen sunspots. That's not what the secondary sun is. It looks like a lens flare.
Yeah, it looks like a lens flare.
Now, I'm not saying it is, because it could be something different, but I'm just saying that it doesn't. I don't think if you zoomed in on it, you would find sunspots. So that's kind of a marker that I think that you would be able to. I don't think they can fake the sun on somebody who's looking for it. Now, could you, if we were just going there to go skiing, could you fake the sun that we didn't really know that the sun wasn't up there all the time? That I do think is possible, but not
Sure.
people down there.
But it would have to be exactly where the sunspots were at that time of day and match all the other ones.
I don't see any. There's no research station that I can see at the 80-degree mark. So I don't know how you would check the weather because I'm not finding. And I don't think on this you can't put in just like a. Sorry, this one. You can't put in just like 80 degrees south. I don't think you can do that. 80 degrees south. Oh wait, for coordinates, please use one of these formats. We could just use coordinates. Sweet, we can do that. Sorry, I don't know why.
Oh, even better.
What is the format? Hello. Show me the format again. Degrees or decimal. Okay, I'll use the decimal one. It's easier. So we go here and go to 80. Where are we? Where's the fishtail? There. So 8 degrees here. And then I got to get the decimal. 79, 80. So about here. And what do I see? So negative 80.02. Negative 80.02. And latitudes, what are the chances of that? I put it right on negative 80, negative 80. 0.23. All right.
Oh,
I didn't know that that's where I would be. All right. So we're going to go use this decimal. Okay. Wait, it doesn't show any. So just negative 80.2, 0.3, negative 80.2. That's didn't take me anywhere. What did I do wrong? Negative 80 point. Oh, open map. See if it'll let us go down there. That would solve a bunch of issues.
there you go.
All right, so we should be about right here. Negative 76. No. Move down more. Negative 77 more. That's good enough. We'll just be happy with that. Negative 79.75 minus 67. Select. Okay. Wait, what? I thought I said it would let me do that, and then it just doesn't even it doesn't give me any details.
I know, it's maddening.
I guess you can't do that. Let me see. Does it work like that for everywhere? So I bet if I pick somewhere, why doesn't it make you type in something first? I bet you if I put, give me that map again.
Ooh, 25% off Home Depot.
What a deal.
Hey, man. My
Bet you
sponsor.
these other places that you pick, it'll probably just let you pick it and then go. And
There
then
you
see
go.
the temperature. But we won't do that for negative 80. Let's try again. 9, put this open map. There's Punta Arenas. That was pretty lucky. Just dropped that there. So we'll be
I
looking
do the same in the north.
here-ish. Negative 77, negative 78, 79. Okay, it's close enough. And we go select, and it won't give me a temperature. See?
No?
Well, no, it gave me nothing. It gave me just a bunch of lists that didn't even respect me at all. It's complete disrespect by this whole thing. Let me go a little bit.
They're treating you like Dangerfield over here. That's
I
bullshit.
get no respect. Huh?
I get no respect. Hey.
Go here. Let's try that. So let's go a little closer. Maybe there, 74, just to see if they pick up. No, they won't even tell you the temperature there. So, all these things are just things that make me always wonder, the no undersea cables, the no cruises, the ridiculous plane flights in the South that the planes aren't efficient. That's why I'm fully capable of saying, I don't think there's a 24-hour sun. If you think there is, show it me. But everyone else is losing their mind over it rather than just be proud of your beliefs and just say, all right, well, if there's a 24-hour sun, show us. And that's it. And if I come back and say I saw one and you don't like it, then keep believing whatever you want to believe. I hope you don't follow my channel, because if I hear you saying stuff in my chat, I'm going to tell you, well, that's ridiculous. You don't believe what evidence I'm telling you I saw. Now, again, I don't think that that's what's going to happen. I think that it'll be cloudy, which I do think will be beyond evidence of flat Earth, because I can't predict the weather in Antarctica 6 months ahead of time. Sorry, I don't have any meteorological degree, and there shouldn't be clouds at all, and it should be their summer. So if I tell you now that there's going to be 3 days of clouds and we won't see anything, if we come back and that's the case, hopefully you're smart enough to realize what that means. I don't know if people are. I think people would still say, well, it could have been. All right, whatever. I predicted clouds, and that's more likely the case.
I'm looking at a city called Nunatame, Greenland, which is right there on 80 degrees. And it's very consistently the same temperature all day long. It goes in between like 3 degrees max like difference. And
Makes a
I'm
lot of
looking at, let me see if I can put that up on what I'm doing. Let's see. I'll put yours back up for now, but
I don't worry
this
about
is
it.
kind of fascinating. I mean,
Well,
yeah,
like
I'm
you said,
looking on like the
well,
weather network, and it
people should want
just,
more evidence. That's all. People should want. We don't get
I
any.
mean, but yeah, but that's showing that, okay, so temperature should really not vary more than a couple degrees throughout the day. That's how it is in the north, um, which is pretty random. I mean, that never happens. So that's clearly because of the 24-hour sun, why you would have no variation. And you could look this up. I'm on Weather Network, and it just says like like right now is our summer solstice. It's just going between 1 degree, 2 degree, 1 degree, 0 degree, 1 degree, two, and like all throughout the day. So yeah, that would probably happen. So yeah, you shouldn't expect much of a temperature difference if you're doing the same in the south, right?
I guess we are right though. So I didn't know that. I'm up in Norway now, and it is 80 degrees.
There
Didn't
you
we not
go.
see that on the map though? I thought we were looking and we didn't see that. I thought I saw that there was nothing under the 80 degrees. Let me go look why I was off on that. So I went here. I went to 80, which is here. Oh, that's weird. I thought Norway was over here. Look, it says Norway. Yet Norway is.
Yeah, but it goes up there. Here,
No,
let
but
me
look,
show you. Like on this, it's
I didn't know
got
this island is not is. I never knew that. Look at this. This island is completely separate from Norway, where Svalbard is.
yeah, it's
Never
like
knew that.
Russian, I think.
I never knew that. I thought that Norway was one piece of land. Okay, so there is a place at 80 that is
See over here. Yeah,
Longyearbyen and Svalbard. So we can go
this
there.
is Nunatame, Greenland. 1 degree, 1 degree, like 2 p.m. 1 degree, 4 p.m. 2 degrees, 10 p.m. 2 degrees, 1 a.m. 1 degree. I mean, that's what's going down when there's a 24-hour sun. So even if there's fog patches, it doesn't really change the temperature. Whereas if that sun's going bye-bye and it's all foggy, I bet you that temperature would really drop.
You're right. I'm seeing basically in Svalbard that we're getting. So over a course of how many days this is, I don't know, but we go 44. Never gets so 42 is the lowest. 47 is the highest. 42 to 47. Let's see if there's anything different. 42 to 47. There's 49. 42 to 49. 7 degrees. 42. So 7 degrees max, but it's also more within. Oh, now we get a little bit warmer here. 50, 51. So would that be 42 to 58 degrees? 42 to 50, 41, 9 degrees, 40, so 10 degrees. But I don't know how many days is that. That's over Wednesday, Tuesday, Monday, Sunday, Saturday. Oh, it's a whole 7 days. So I just showed a 10-degree difference over 7 days. But if you're talking about
Not much.
No, and you're talking about 1 day, it would be even less than that, right? So that's 10 degrees over 7 days. I'm writing this down. And then if we look at 1 day, so just within one block, so here it goes 42 to 47, so 5 degrees. Let's go to the next day. Here we got 46 to 45 to 49, so 4 degrees in 1 day. We keep going here. That one's 1 day and it goes 44 to 47. So 3 degrees. 43 to 47, 4 degrees. 44 to 51. So that's the biggest change is this 1 day has 7-degree swing. 7 degrees. But I don't see anything more than that. Here we got 40. And you're right, most days it's only 41 to 46, 5 degrees. So anywhere 5, 6, 7 degrees most. But you're right. If you're talking about Antarctica, shouldn't it be a lot more of a drop than that? But
Yeah.
how we'd have to do the temperature gauging ourselves because it doesn't look like it shows us.
Well, maybe they haven't figured this out. Maybe on like time and date, like they're like they didn't realize that this could be a thing. I'm looking on it right now,
but I can't bring up any temperatures in Antarctica.
Time and date, weather in South Pole. I found it. But it's for
Can you find
now. I
80
want to.
degrees? Oh, it doesn't let you.
Um, I don't. It just says on Amundsen Scott
That's
Pole
at the That's the
Station.
South Pole.
That's South Pole, so that should be pretty much the same. I just need to see if I could change the date. To okay, keep on going here.
Okay,
Change
so
the
this is
date.
McMurdo right now, and McMurdo is going from negative 27. Let's see, this is Thursday. Just trying to see each day, but right now it's of course shouldn't be that much. It shouldn't be. It should just be dark. I don't know why there'd be that much of a swing. This showed it went from negative 27 to negative 12. So
Can you put in like December though and see what those dates are?
Yeah, I think so. Can't you change the date? I'm just
Should be
checking.
able to.
Well, that's pretty standard. This
I mean,
one-
that's look at that's a giant.
yeah, but
drop.
this is in there right now, right? So then we would have to go. What is these lines down here? A wind. So then we can change. Oh, you only can change these dates. You can't see weather overview. Next 24 hours. Can you show? It just shows the next week.
Oh, it's got to be recorded somewhere. This damn internet.
I thought that they would show like a year's worth of weather. I guess not. Huh?
You want
Yeah, it won't let me do anything. I can't see how to get outside of these dates. Detail here, no. See weather overview? No. Oh wait, here we go. Yesterday past weather. So like past 2 weeks. Here we go. Here we go. So we're gonna go down to December 2023.
Right.
Okay, so now let's go December 14th. Just for light days. So this is showing high, low, high, low, high, low, high, low. Looks like it stays within 4 degrees here.
wow.
This one here shows a low of 21 to a high of 30, 9-degree difference, 28 to 30, 27 to 30, 3 degrees difference. Sunday, December 17th, 21 to 28, 7 degrees. What did we say the most was in the north? 7 degrees in one day.
Yeah.
10 degrees in a week.
Oh, in a day? I mean, a day. I don't think it got more than 7. I think it's 4.
I think 7 was the most, or maybe it was 4 in a day or 5 in a day, but it was 10 degrees over 7 days. But I'm trying to see what is the lowest here. The lowest is 21 out of all these. So that went low right here. This is early December, shows a low of 10. So I mean that's a big difference because now look at, so we're talking range from 10 to a high of 32 in a week. So 10 to 32 is 22. The most we saw in the north was 10. So it is different.
It is different. Can you do the same for the South Pole station? And get to this. I'm trying to figure that out. How you get more weather last week?
This is McMurdo. So
McMurdo.
Not even close to 80 degrees. It's like 70 degrees. Because it wouldn't let me go. Wouldn't let me do that one.
I see.
Plus mean. Clouds plus. 19, 21, 21, 21. I don't know. I would expect a bigger, but again, go down there with if I was fooling the world, it'd be very easy to doctor these.
I mean, yeah, that would probably.
Well, there's a 7, low of 7. So this is in one day, a difference of 21. Again, but the problem is this is McMurdo. I don't even know the.
That's why I'm looking at. If it's the South Pole, that should be the same temperature always.
It won't let me bring up the South Pole in here. I mean, I can type it in, but it won't give me any weather, I don't think. Let's try again. South Pole. We saw that. South Pole, Antarctica. But then it won't give me. Oh, wait, maybe. Weather data. We have been recording very few readings for this month. Some days may be missing. Let's go December 2023. All right. Well, this is showing something for South Pole. So around the dates.
Okay, nice. Mid-December. That's ridiculous. Look all over the place that is. It's a fucking flat Earth.
At December 21st, should be just rotating around there. So you wouldn't see so much variance, but well, this is I get confused. I hate negative numbers. I hate the weather. Anyway.
I know.
Said if it's 50 degrees today, and I tell you that tomorrow's going to be twice as hot, how hot will it be tomorrow?
I'm already confused.
It makes no sense.
But look at why is there not available? Do you see this? How they're saying not available at the time we want on some of these days? That's weird.
Summary for December 2023. Okay, so this is showing a difference in average -19, high, low. Wait, oh, I was getting confused because I thought these were positive numbers. These are negative numbers.
Still.
Which is another funny thing. If it's -10 degrees and I tell you it'll be twice as hot tomorrow, how hot will it be?
Why would it be so cold during the summer?
Yeah. Oh, so what about the north? Does it get this cold?
No,
do we weren't
that's a
able
good
to put North
point.
Pole on. Were we able to put North Pole though?
I was.
Can you give me
It stayed. It basically just says it was like but that was in the summer, so it was like 0 degrees in the summer. What is what it was? But this would be summer for the south, so it's like a 20-degree drop.
-24
in temperature at the same area, pretty much.
I'm seeing
maybe not though, because we're talking South Pole compared to the 80th
to -9. That's during their summer. So what is it right now? Can we look up what the North Pole is now?
Yeah, well, yeah, right now it's
we typed
between 1 degree, at least the place that I found, Nunatame, it was like 0 degree, 1 degree, 0 degree, -1 degree.
What is its degree? And how you spell it?
What do you mean?
What is its degree on the?
Oh, 80 exactly.
Okay, but we're looking at South Pole here.
No, I know, but
we should be looking at.
You're talking about the North. Oh, I see. There's no cities in North Pole areas.
There's no cities in the South. And that's another weird thing, right? Is like we can't even find a married place, and they might do that on purpose. So we can't compare 80 degrees to 80 degrees because there's only 80 degrees in the north. There is no 80-degree station in the south. Then if we go and check 90 degrees, we can find the south because there's a South Pole station, but it won't let us find the north. So we can't even compare because there's not two cities at the same. It's just weird. It's just like the way you would set it up if it was a deception.
There should be 0 variance in weather at the poles on the solstices, don't you think? Like, what's the
very little? Maybe 2-3 degrees at the most. I would expect.
Yeah.
I mean, this shows a difference of in a week, not -9 to -24. But again,
that's a lot. That's pretty wide.
Yeah, and this is during their summer, so there's no reason why it should be varying. And then let me check.
Because in 80 degrees in the north, you're getting a 3-degree variance in a day max, for the most part, and then in the South Pole, which should be more cohesive, it shouldn't. The South Pole.
So think about this though, real quick. In June, so the sun is doing the inner track, right? But it still is going close to Antarctica than far away, close to Antarctica and far away. And look at the temperature difference: -51 to -90 in a matter of 4 days.
Wow.
So that makes sense a lot more on a flat Earth. I wouldn't even know why it would be a variance in the winter for Antarctica that just gets no sun.
Yeah, that is odd. That's exactly what we'd see on a flat Earth.
Yeah,
it would be super cold, but it would be consistently cold, wouldn't it? To the ball?
Yeah, I would think so. This is a 50-degree temperature difference, which would be indicative of a sun that's going near, far, near, far, near, far.
God damn it. Do we need how many more flat Earth proofs?
Well, I guess it would be in the same day. I shouldn't be looking at the whole week for that. The sun would make that variation daily. So it'd be
12 a.m. and 12 p.m. would be a similar.
Yeah. So I mean, you're definitely 20 degree difference here, 20 degree here.
Yeah.
10 degrees here, 10 here, 20 here. Yes, that seems like more than you would expect.
Yeah.
So this is June.
Fascinating.
The South Pole. And then, I don't understand why the South Pole would have any difference in December. Shouldn't have much. And it's
Well, we'll
here we
just
go.
add this to the pile of flat Earth proofs that we.
Degrees, 7 degrees. This is
McMurdo's 77.
yeah, that makes no sense to me though. I don't know why you'd have a 7-degree difference, low and high, at the South Pole on December 21st.
No,
Doesn't fit.
no, especially if that thing is just doing a perfect circle. You know, if you're like if you're, you have a grow light on like a plant and you're just going around the top of the plant, like there's no way like the temperature of the other one half of that or like would be so would drop. And that's the best explanation I think of.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. All right, I do have to do a hard stop. I got to go. This has been fun though, man. Dude, that's really cool that like we just kind of entertained some new
and that's what it
flat
should
Earth
be. It should
proofs.
just be entertaining to people. And I don't know. I guess to me, it just seems people are really acting like life or death depends on this observation. And I don't feel that way. So I don't think that they should. And if you don't like the name of it, don't call it that. Don't call it the last experiment. Say, oh, they're going to go make an observation so we can get more data. That's how I would look at it.
Yeah, we're just going to do an experiment. There never is like a settled anything. We're constantly learning.
And there shouldn't be. This is why I've been preaching forever that there is no proofs. People want to say that this proves this, and I get it. I use the word occasionally too, but there is no actual proof of anything. And that's because there can always be, you to say proof, it means you've taken everything into account. So if I say I go down there and the sun goes by my head and I say, oh, that leads towards a globe, but have I taken everything into account? No, that'd be literally impossible. Be literally impossible that I know all things, I know all models, and so therefore that's impossible. Now, am I allowed to make a decision based on the evidence? Absolutely. You could say this claim supports the evidence more, or this one supports it more. That you're allowed to do. But the idea of proof, which is like what Nathan Oakley preaches, is like it's conclusive, it's final, we never need to look at it again. That doesn't exist, and it shouldn't exist. If it does, then you're not actually into evidence and
it has to be something humanity all signs off on, and if there are people that question it, then it hasn't been convincing enough. There are things that we can just consider is because it is, but
things can be true to the point that you no longer question them. But when you're talking about things that you'd have to have every, that's why I say that do you have every available, just like the gravity thing, or just like they'll say, oh yeah, we proved that relative density is gravity. It's like, well, you didn't take everything into account. Like you didn't take in electrostatics. You didn't take in, there could be invisible things that we don't even know what they are. Like, so we don't know that. I always talk about getting sunburnt back in the day. Well, they would have just said, oh, the sun burns your skin, but it's actually the UV rays. But we didn't discover UV rays existed till way after. So if they would have just settled on something as like, this is it, well, no, we can always learn more. So anyway, I would never be stuck to a permanent belief. I think that is the thing that causes people to have problems, because once you've stood on something really strong and you don't have the ability to get off of it, then and I've seen that with people already, and that's where it seems like with the globe, right? It doesn't matter what you ever bring up with them. That's why I've always kind of laughed at that and said, oh, these guys don't even have a falsifiable model, because there's nothing you could ever bring up that would make them say, oh, I guess I don't believe what I thought I did. Whereas with me, there is something you could bring up that would make me not believe it. So that's the difference.
Well, you've done a great thing, and I'm excited for the future here. Thanks for making this scary realization very, very comforting and palatable in this crazy little shift that we're going through here. I think it's pretty cool. I like where Flat Earth is going. There are a lot of people, tons of people, way more actually, that are just so on board with everything you're doing. It's just like any comments, like one bad comment will completely rent all the space in your brain. It's just how shit works. But
that's why, like, I haven't watched 1 minute of the video by Level Earth Observer. I know he made one because somebody sent it to me, and then I told that person, I don't know why you do this. I don't. If people sent me all the hate videos, then I would just be watching hate videos about myself all day. So I don't even. It's nice. I acknowledge it's okay, great, but I didn't watch it because I can tell by the name of the video it's just a hit piece, and I don't really. Nobody has the right. There's no way he's saying something that is of any importance. Let's put it that way. He's going to
Right.
waffle on about, well, we don't know and we're not knowing for sure and it could be a reflection. Waffle on all you want. That's you coping. It's not you being
Yeah.
honest.
And it's not your responsibility or duty to pay any attention to things you don't want to do. You can do whatever the fuck you want. And this
You can
community
believe
does
whatever you
not
want.
guide you. Do
No,
whatever the fuck you want. In fact, this community, in my opinion, the more you do just how you do it, that's unconventional, the more I enjoy your content
Thank you.
or anybody's content, really. So it's
too.
like
I
a
don't
less
like
is more thing. When you start thinking, oh, the community wants this and they want this, like, who gives a
You can never
shit?
think that way.
I'm here to watch Jaren and Jaren alone and his brain and how Jaren operates this world is fascinating to me. And anytime that if that gets infiltrated by any outside influence,
You would be able to tell. You would be able.
I'd be able to tell. I could
think so.
definitely tell.
Yeah, that's what I say. If I come back and I'm saying like, "Oh, NASA's real. We went to the moon," you should immediately know, "Oh, something's compromised," right? Because there's nothing
Yeah.
about that observation that changes my opinion about that.
You should do that anyway, just for like a gag for like a week. Just be like, I think the moon landing, and then be like, what's wrong with it? But then just be like, I'm just kidding, you motherfuckers. That'd be funny.
Before, but I don't. I
don't know. You're not a prankster.
I'm not a prankster. I don't like pranks. Actually, I think they're too easy. People trust you, and if people trust you and you take advantage of that, I think you're a dick. You're not being cool. You're not being funny. I had a friend who used to prank people all the time and thought it was so funny, but it's like, dude, you're doing that to your friends. And the reason you're getting away with it is because we trust you. So stop pranking the people that trust you. That's the complete dick thing to do. But now he's no longer a friend. So see what happens. So
exactly. That's how these friends slowly fizzle away from high school days.
Shitty people.
You know, like the people that would like, they'd be picking you up in their car, and then you would try to open the door, and then they drive off. You're like, oh, you got me.
Oh, it's so funny.
Do it again, and it's like, this sucks.
Yeah, you just want to kick people in the balls at that point. But
yeah,
it happens. All right. Well, thanks for having me on. Appreciate it.
Yes, thanks so much, man. This was great. I think we got to the bottom of a lot of things. Any shout outs last minute you wanted to say to my audience here?
Nope. Just thanks for supporting the show and supporting the channel. And I do have a VIP.
How can they support you?
VIP is the best way to do that. If you go to whop.com/Jeranism, we get together every first and third Saturday at noon, and we always have a member of the community with us. So we had David Weiss the first time, Rose 777 the second time, Austin Whitsitt the third time, and then this last Saturday we had Conspiracy Music Guru, got some private music.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
I saw the thumbnail, but I didn't have a chance to watch. I gotta check that out.
Check it out. We're going to be doing that every other week, and then you also get to go to the crypto classes every other Friday if you want to do that, and then you're in part of some private Telegram groups that are pretty cool. We have a lot of good conversations in there. So that's about it. It's like if you're tired of the Jeranism chat because it's a lot of nonsense on Telegram, I mean, the VIP chat is obviously better since it's people that are all VIPs. There's also a single group in there where single guys are putting their image and then what they, I'm 25, I'm this tall, I work at this job, and then girls that are in the group can reach out if they are interested. So that's the way we're running the singles group for now. And that's about it. So that's at whop.com/Jeranism. If you want to join the VIP, I'm about a quarter of the way to being self-funded. So it's
nice.
Exciting. But we'll see.
Well
if we
done.
Get quarters.
Excellent, brother. Well,
Yeah,
all right. Well, I'm gonna
do. I would do away with all my. Well, if I ever got there, I would do away with like channel memberships. Anything like that. Any kind of monetization on the channel. Things being.
I'm just kind of starting that, but it's been kind of fun to kind of build an online thing here. But huh?
Starting what? I didn't hear what you meant.
Oh, I mean, channel memberships. I just was allowed to. And so it's nice to have some sort of monthly consistent.
But I would rather do away with it. Obviously, I'd rather all my stuff be free. I'd rather not have anything behind paywalls at Rockfin. So if we
I'm not doing anything like that. It's just like a $5 support. I haven't thought about it more than that. But
well, then
I have a sponsor though. Have you seen my sponsor? They're paying all my bills.
Ooh.
Well, I'll leave it with my sponsor here. I totally sold out. It's a drug company. So, pretty good. Jaren, thanks so much, brother. This has been awesome. I really enjoyed this. This went flying by. And is there a next stream that we can look forward to real quick? Which are you not debating today?
Thursday. Friday's the Jeranism show.
Friday, Jeranism show, usually in the evening. Awesome. Thanks again, brother.
It's gonna be more like back to 2 or 3 in the afternoon. Going
Okay,
for
2 or
that.
3. I'll be around for that. Listen
right.
to it. All right, brother. Thanks so much once again. All right,
Appreciate
enjoy my sponsor.
Are you experiencing signs of discomfort or irritability while watching NASA and space news? Have you noticed your sense of reality becoming more and more blatantly and obviously shattered? Do you find your cognitive dissonance increasing more and more as you live life post-pandemic? Are you struggling to maintain relationships with friends, colleagues, and loved ones? Well, now there's Flatterall. Flatterall has been tested and proven to help aid in the awakening of the collective consciousness. Flatterall can help you decipher the truth from the lies that we were all taught. Flatterall can help cure symptoms of chronic appealing to authority, systemic brainwashing, excessive need for conformity, NASA fanboy syndrome, delusional belief of the moon landing, and diarrhea. Talk to your doctor today and see if waking the up is right for you. Side effects may include losing your family, losing your job, losing your mind, questioning your sanity, questioning your gullibility, questioning literally everything in your life, and diarrhea.
Follow from. Follow from.